Yeah. It's got 18,000 or something like that.
Okay, so, all right, what we're gonna have tonight is, we've gone through everything once, so we're gonna review and, see where we go.
Okay.
We'll go to the L fund,
We're gonna start with the L
because we have
side.
some people here that are,
People here who are representing the L fund.
The library.
We're L fund.
Okay. So do you, is it time?
Is it time?
Okay. I wrote myself down because that's how I function best. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Town of Lake Pleasant Library, as the town board and the budget officer are very concerned about the percent of increase in our budget. The Town of Lake Pleasant Library strives to provide the residents of the district with access to a wide scope of informational resources, services, and programs. In keeping with this concept, the Adirondack Room is available for public gatherings of a civic, cultural, or educational nature. It has become an important meeting place for the town's groups. The town board has already been told about our growth in use and the adjustments we have made, such as our open hours. To make the library as accessible as possible, we will continue to adjust as we evaluate the survey we created to evaluate the needs and wishes of those who chose to complete the survey. Our budget has grown, primarily in one area, due to costs associated with personnel. Small salary increases due to New York State minimum wage hikes caused us to evaluate the salary of all employees. This, of course, affects Social Security, Medicare. The main increase has to do with health insurance costs. As you can tell by your budget line, one employee has changed from buyout to town health insurance. This jump was unexpected, but due to civil service and other laws that protect employees, necessary. Our raise in costs show a high percentage, as our budget is low. If the amount we want to raise were in the general or highway fund, the percentage would be small. So our small budget definitely gets affected by that kind of percentage. We have made cuts where we could while ensuring that the quality of our program does not suffer. We have a small amount set aside for building repairs and upkeep, such as the attic insulation that was performed this year to help control heat loss and the new stairs that are being required. If a donation from friends is given to the town library again this year, it could be applied to collections, programs, and our digital collection as it was last year, as per their request. This would lessen the library's budget request dollar for dollar. Hopefully the board will continue to support the library, which is an asset to residents. We cannot do that without staff, programs, and items for circulation. And I didn't know if you had any questions.
I have a question. You're talking about the New York State minimum wage hike caused an evaluation of pay scales.
One of our employees wasn't even making the New York State required minimum wage.
Well, which minimum wage are you talking about?
The one that's coming up?
She was raised this year because she was under minimum. And that
Are
was
you talking
part-
about the $15 minimum?
No,
That
no,
affects New York
No,
City?
$11 and.
Okay, now that's
$11
Whatever it
the
was.
question I had.
She was making less than the
Right.
required $11. So
Okay.
by raising her,
Right, and the step
and then there's
forward.
the step.
Okay.
The minimum wage for 2020 is $11.80 an hour.
I believe so, yeah.
So what's the bottom line on that increase for that one employee?
What was it, I forget. She works 12 hours a week, and she will be making $12 an hour. Yeah,
50 weeks, 52 weeks,
52,
every week she works? No time off?
pretty much, yeah. Well, she's working 12 hours, it's not like,
Oh, no.
And she was 7 something before?
No, she was, I think, maybe upper $10, maybe around 11. She was under.
just,
We're not
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
big
yeah.
difference.
No.
So she got,
Like $240 or something.
624 hours, so.
Yeah.
The big jump, if You know, I'm just learning this budget stuff too, but as I look down, the big jump was the health insurance. And again, if you have an employee that opts to no longer take the buyout and instead opts for the health insurance, they're protected by civil service law.
She
That
doesn't
one-
have a choice,
Yeah,
yeah.
that tied our hands on that line.
How many employees?
3.
3. Including
Only
the-
one full-time.
No, 2 full-time,
Two full-time.
one
Full-time.
part.
Full-time, that's right.
And the
Yeah, that's
624
part
hour
of the
person
That's
is the
part-
part-time.
Yeah, but the big health insurance jump was the one.
yeah,
Not, the other, the buyout would have remained the same.
Right.
Because that's what the
Well,
second
I'm
employee
sorry
takes.
that Karen isn't here, because our request to her at the last meeting was that she go back to your board
Mhm.
and ask if there was even a few $1,000s that could be trimmed.
Well,
And
the
I don't
cut,
know if
the
she's done
one,
that.
we
Where?
did meet, we met Monday, and we looked at, I don't have my copy of the budget with me. We looked at collections, thank you. Collections,
collections, okay.
And office supplies, or library supplies,
yes.
and
And
computer, I think.
computer was also one, but that would mean not upgrading, and that's,
Upgrade maybe
Karen
2
thought that you
instead
could get
of
by,
Two,
reduced to
4,000.
2.
two computers?
Yeah,
Yeah, she
instead
said they
of,
weren't being used.
right.
Yes.
Most people bringing their own tablets.
Right.
And that was
Yeah, but
definitely
I think
discussed at
one
the
was
board meeting.
staff and one was, I'm not exactly sure. One was public and one was
I
staff
thought
that
she
we
was
were
talking about all
upgrading. or-
public computers.
It's possible. It's hard to keep
That there
straight
were
anymore.
3 and she
Yeah.
said you could do with 2
We
now.
ordered, we ordered, yes,
That is correct.
we ordered,
Okay.
so we ordered 2 this year, but that would be covered in this year's budget.
In the,
And then
No, no,
drop
no.
it, no,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, and then drop it down from, we try and replace them because of the contract with Sal's. I think there's a certain amount they would try and replace, but since more people
That-
have been
yes.
bringing in their own,
right.
She explained.
we were gonna
clearly.
drop that down.
Yeah, there are no
Okay.
more computers coming in this year.
No.
I checked with Sherry on that. There are 2, an option for 2 for next year.
That's an option,
Yeah.
that could be dropped.
I thought that Sal's had you on a replacement schedule. That's what Karen said.
I think when things become obsolete, they insist that we update them, but I don't know if
And that
there's
was
a
like
That
every-
doesn't,
every 3
that- yeah,
years
but
or
that
something.
doesn't mean we have to.
Right, we maybe can rotate
Collections,
them.
we did drop,
Mhm.
From
that's down.
6,002.
No, we had
Oh,
it,
it
what,
does.
It was 7.
It was 7, it's down
From
to
7
6.
down to 6.
Right, but we asked Karen to ask the board to try to take a little bit more out again.
We haven't had a meeting of the full board,
We had a
Oh,
meeting
okay.
of the partial,
yeah.
well, those of us who are able to come. Supplies we talked about.
And we also would like to see what help Friends of the Library would provide, being that that's their mission, is to raise money for the library.
Well,
Sounding-
it's part of their mission, yeah.
It's sounding very positive that there's gonna be the $7,500, same as last year.
With us being, that would offset
That would offset.
collections, digital, and programs.
Well, yeah, that, and
And we
reduce
did
taxes
apply
by
for a
that much.
grant from, what's that?
So that
Alco.
would drop to
Alco.
7,500 then.
For your
Right.
programs.
The amount to be raised
Well,
by
we
taxes.
applied for a grant, it's a matching grant, is part of it. So, it's hard to.
You don't know what you're.
Yeah, we
gonna
bring in as many free things as we can,
I know you do.
but, you bring in something for, looking at several $100s per program.
get. And like,
So the 4 things that you said you looked at Monday was library collection? What was,
Hoping to offset that. Again, we're hoping that, and if.
we're
if
not gonna
friends are-
add to that,
Oh, no.
no.
I don't know what you mean, you're not gonna add 2 what?
We're not gonna raise it back up to 7,000.
Oh,
if
I
we get-
understand that.
Yeah,
So it was library collection, the library computers, the public ones, and what were the other ones?
Office.
office supplies. Well, it's
Office
not
and
just
library
office supplies, yeah,
It's-
that's
yeah.
And there was a 4th
book
one,
covers
wasn't
and
there?
everything else.
No.
Hmm?
There's library programs,
It was
activities.
in your notes, you read it
collection.
off, Kathy.
No, I said that the digital collection is part of the Sal's contract.
Yeah.
So
That last
we can't
year,
change the
yeah.
sales contract, but we're hoping to offset the cost of the sales contract with a donation from Friends of the Lake Pleasant Library.
And like Kathy said, it was raised by $22,000, which are employee costs. If that was in the general fund, it wouldn't even raise it anything.
Yeah, I understand
Yeah,
that.
but it's not.
But it's not, but we're not gonna vote on, the total budget is what we have to stay under the tax cap, not
Is
just
digital
this one.
collection part of
It's under-
4.10 library collection?
Yes,
Okay,
Yes, I
so
am.
how about, what's the proportion between hardcover and digital?
the digital, is,
It's probably
Friends
like-
donated last year as part of the 7,500, they donated $1,000 to go to,
For digital?
for digital.
Okay,
And that's why that line is over, because it probably would make sense to put another line in for ebooks so that it's separate from the regular
Yeah.
collection.
Can that be
Collection
done?
is books, movies, audiobooks,
magazines.
Magazines,
And anything
right.
that's available to the public
right,
to
Now-
learn from.
yeah.
Programs is, and activities, we had a discussion about, the difference between them. Activities tends to be more the preschool,
And the Lego Club, yeah.
well, and then the programs would be outsides that are brought in. There it goes again. Whoop.
Basically, if we cut too much from the actual functioning of the library for employee costs, it's,
I understand that, and I'm not saying that I'm adamantly against giving the library what it's asking for. I have concerns about the library, okay? When you go back through the 2018 budget, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 budget lines that were exceeded. 9, 10, 11, 12. Of 16, so that's 50% of your budget lines were over budget.
I don't see where.
Some of them by quite a bit when you look at
There's what it's actually spent. So
the amount of
first
money
one,
that was
second
over
one,
as compared
They're also
to
cut.
what was allocated for it.
over by $600 total at the bottom, if you look at budget
but-
and that, because the lines,
I see that, and that's because you made unexpected revenues that you didn't expect.
no, this is just the expenditure side. That doesn't have anything to do with the revenue side.
Oh, no, I see what you're saying, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got 590.46 over the total budget.
yeah, so, and
So,
the
which,
library board approved that to be transferred from fund balance, as
Mhm.
did this board approve to have that amount be
Yeah.
transferred.
well, I guess what I'm trying to say is,
You want revenue, go back before,
I have to question
there's revenues.
the board's estimates
Okay,
on expenses in
Ah.
for the upcoming year, because
let me explain something. The library is dictated under state ed law, not town law. Technically speaking, other than the fact that we're part of this budget process and we need budget lines for whatever, the library is asking for the bottom line. And that's all that needs to be approved by the town, according to
understand
state
that.
ed law. So whatever movement we make, it's just like if you look at any of the other budgets, there's movement between lines.
Yeah.
And
I
the
understand that.
other thing that I think needs to be addressed is the fact that we have lost the volunteers. That,
Well, now you're up to my number 3 question.
yeah, we have,
Is we need to revive the volunteer program, and
we've been working on it.
And there's,
And the people that we have approached,
Mhm.
it's the same thing you and I have talked about. It's the same people who do, and they're stretched as thin as they
I think we
can.
ought to pass a town law that says everybody has to volunteer 100 hours a year at a nonprofit.
Oh, yes,
I-
public service, I love that.
Exactly.
Do
Love
it.
I love it.
You may not
Need
want
to-
some of them.
You may need to talk to Carl about that.
If you
Sorry for
have-
what you wish for.
If you have open hours and there's nobody there to check books,
Yeah.
you can't handle setting up programs.
Well, when did the trustees do volunteer work?
All the time.
I have done, let's see,
I know you do the good plantings.
no, more than that. We do our own fundraising as best we can. I run with Tony, the program committee. Tony and somebody else, we all have different committees we're on.
Collection, yeah.
Amy Peters is working with the, is trying to get more community involvement. We've got the building committee. I've helped Megan clean out the basement through that. We've got, programs, we have at least one a month. We have movie night, we volunteer for those. We have all of these different things because we have no volunteers. Every single member of the board is on at least one committee that's either raising funds, putting on programs, collection committee,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And we all donate our own time and money
And
to
money.
decorations. We supplemented the gift cards. We're not sitting on our ducks.
No, definitely not.
I mean,
We-
the Twigs House Committee does all that stuff,
Yeah,
plus we work at the store.
yeah.
Right,
So,
it's the same
We're
kind.
doing the
the
same
point.
concept.
okay.
We're getting nobody willing to sit at the desk and check
So
books
does
out.
Amy, does she have experience in recruiting volunteers?
I know she's, I'd have
I
to
don't know, I
check
work
with
with Amy on that one, yeah, I sure
Oh,
do
you
have
do, yeah,
experience, yeah.
okay. Okay.
Oh, Karen is sick.
her.
I wonder.
It's just, yeah, she said she won't be able to come. Thank you, Karen.
And stay away.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Do we have any endowments? Does the library have any endowments?
Not that we know of.
No, wish.
You know, you have an excellent person over here.
Yeah, give me another job, go ahead, I
Yeah,
dare.
I'd be glad to.
Endowments, we gotta get Mary Finkel going.
Exactly.
Well, you know, there are some people in town who feel extremely strongly about the library, and I'm just wondering if they would shell out some money for endowments.
We do have people that do give
Yeah.
gifts, not necessarily
Gifts.
endowments.
I know, I see
but-
the gifts line, yeah.
And the bricks thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a flop.
We just sent in an order for 9 more.
Oh, well, that's good, but
Yeah.
it
Um,
certainly wasn't, you know, overwhelmingly
You
popular.
Well,
know,
the-
it's like
but
any
the-
other thing. You try it, you give it a shot.
Right, I
Mhm.
understand, yeah.
Sure.
And you
No,
have to
we-
remember that that expansion was done without taxpayers' money.
Well, it was done with New York State taxpayers' money.
Okay.
Town money, yeah.
If our library didn't get it, I'm
Somebody
sure
else would have,
somebody
I know.
else would have,
I
so,
know. But
and we wouldn't
for
have
the
the
sake of
benefit.
accuracy. Okay, the
Roger.
only other question I had was, I think it might be time to think about starting to charge for library cards. If you don't want to charge for everybody that lives here year-round, at least for people that utilize the library
That's
in the
been my
summer.
argument since the beginning of time.
I think it's fine.
Like the
I-
people that come from Camp of the Woods or the people that come from, you know, that are just there for a
When
little
we
while.
store their
Yeah.
cards
Yeah,
for
The
the
I
people
think-
that come from Moffitt's.
Yeah, well,
And
you've
they're
got an
here
awful
for a
lot of
week
people
and
that
wanna
come from
take
all
out a
those
book.
places
Mhm.
and more.
Yeah.
And I
No,
don't
that's
see
been
any
an
problem with,
argument,
you know,
and I
charging
got
them a
voted
few
down.
bucks for a summer card. The libraries do it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I'd
That's what
like to
I-
see the board,
Come
Come
I'm
up
willing
with
to talk
something.
about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
that's what
the
I
first
did
I've
on
heard
one of
about
my
Me too,
vacations
I
to
like
Cape
it.
Cod. I went to about 5 different libraries and said, "You're a tourism library, how do you handle it?"
What
And
did
most
they
of, some did that, others didn't. Hyannis was trying to keep the homeless out of their library,
Oh dear.
which
But
floored me.
I mean, you let them sleep there, right?
Yeah.
During
We
the day.
Oh, I actually did see it once.
At ours?
I did, yeah. I saw a guy fast asleep one day in our library. What are you gonna do, you know?
Yeah, you let them sleep.
Yep.
cause he's up all night walking to stay warm.
Possibly,
Yeah.
yes,
And hopefully that situation has resolved itself, but,
it has.
Nobody's
Well,
left a
let's
child
hope it
there,
holds.
That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah, really.
well, that was all the nitpicking I wanted to do. Thank you
Not
for the
nitpicking, all
information.
about
Yeah, we'll take this back to our board
Mhm.
for our next meeting.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll hear from friends prior to that, so
Their
we know.
next board meeting, they're
Angie,
making that
it's
decision, I believe that's,
I'm sure I'll see you around.
Thought it was tomorrow.
the
I know
18th.
you want my
Okay.
vote.
What's today?
They want it to be Friday.
Okay, Friday. Fair
Here's
enough.
here's a number that I just calculated, just,
grant writing.
I'm not sure what it means,
That you can write for the library.
That's how I kept
but
it.
payroll and associated costs are
But
80% of your
works at the
budget.
moment.
That's,
80?
80%
Oh, it's the only.
of your operating
you
budget.
can.
Well, this is why I brought up the volunteers, because
Absolutely.
this,
Like I said, I don't know what.
It's.
we're
concern
trying
we-
like hell to keep this budget down.
Understood.
Mhm.
And we need the library to try like hell to do it too.
No question.
And you can't, yeah, we need, there's three goals. Last year, we had two goals. One was to rewrite the volunteer handbook, which was done, simplify it. Another goal was to take a survey out, so we developed a survey, and, as many people as filled it out. Unfortunately, it wasn't filled out by people who don't come into the library or who didn't see it at the
Oh,
chamber.
it's circulated.
At the library, and we had pilot at the
But
chamber.
the people that don't go to the
And-
library, they're supposed
we
to.
have
Exactly,
it
but
at
we
the
had some at the
post
chamber as well,
offices,
and at the
too.
post offices.
Mhm.
Dan, we also had them at the post offices.
Okay.
And if they don't go to the library,
Oh,
what
no.
kind of input are they gonna be
Yeah,
able
but,
to get?
Well,
but
because
Yeah.
one of
we're
the,
wired.
Yeah.
the first
Library.
question was, do you go to the library?
Right.
If no, why not?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
Well,
we got none of those, so if we should, more than happy
I
to
didn't know there was
recirculate
a
it.
survey
You
out.
should charge to the city.
I can tell you why Val doesn't go anymore.
What?
He says the history section sucks.
Oh. Does it? Is it?
Then I'll pass
No.
that on to the collections committee.
Yeah. It's,
I wanna build up the children's library as far as, we get quite a few children in. So building up the children nonfiction is
Mhm.
also a priority at this point.
yeah, I think any nonfiction's a
Yeah.
priority.
And what's that new program that we're starting with the federal?
Oh, the federal
Federal
library
Depository,
depository.
Yeah, and that'll give him quite a
Yeah.
variety.
Yeah, he might.
Oh, you think that's actually gonna fly?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
needs a very small amount of space.
And that might
Bring
give
in,
us a hard time with the computer thing, because we
It might.
I
might
know
need
you're
a
gonna need a
computer for
dedicated
that,
computer
yeah,
for
so,
that,
but,
just one.
Well, I
Yeah.
worked on that one as well, I remember getting that here, and if we can make it happen, it's a real feather in our caps.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
nothing in the North Country,
Yeah,
so it'd be great. The other thing I did want to say, I'm working on 2 grants with Sherry. You know me well enough to know, I don't mind writing grants. I
no,
keep
you're great at it.
Thank you. And so we've got 2 in the works. One is library and museum, and the other one is one that I've done before. I did it for extension. It's the New York State Archival Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not we'll get them, I don't know, but
I've
it
done
would
the
be great.
archive grant
Yeah.
before and been successful. So,
Total?
Well, that's good to hear.
At this time.
Oh, over and
That's
over.
compared to last year.
Wear 'em
Yes.
down,
When
sure.
you get refused the first time, take it, go back.
Absolutely.
submit it
Yeah.
to-
I've
submit
only
it to-
submitted once and made it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I got a huge one.
Because
I'll go over that
the
later.
second and third
Has,
time
has
is
the
charm of
library
grants.
board ever thought about
Oh, see, I've always gotten it the first.
Well,
I
then
lucked
you're
out.
lucky, then you're good.
being funded through the school district vote every year, rather than through the town? 'Cause I personally think it's ridiculous that you have to come to town and ask for money.
Hmm.
If it was on the ballot with the school budget every year, the voters would,
I don't
Yes,
know,
it-
is
you know.
it,
it was
I don't know what
discussed.
the mechanism is.
The
Nancy.
problem with that is that
Mhm.
people, school budget is the only one you can vote on.
mhm.
And we've
Your taxes are.
had, heard comments before, if you don't
Right.
do this, then we'll say no.
We had
And then
discussed
austerity
it.
budget is looming.
Mhm.
So I have concerns about that, but we can talk about it.
I
We-
think it's something that should be looked into.
We discussed that several years ago, but after the bad blood with the new school being built,
Oh.
we decided to
Well, there
keep
was-
it where it was at
Maybe
that
it's time
time.
to try again.
But there
though.
was bad blood about the library being built.
I know.
Yeah.
Kathy,
There's always
People
gonna be
don't
people
like
that don't
progress
like
in
something.
this town.
you mentioned children. What's the
It's a stupid-
library resource at school? At the school?
We have a library. It is, the teacher that is the librarian is also the preschool teacher. So the library is open to anybody during the day, but for library instruction classes, they're scheduled for the elementary in the afternoons.
Open to everybody as in general public?
No, there's not enough space for that.
Well, you said it was open to everybody.
In the building, well,
Oh,
you know, I
all
mean,
right.
if a homeschooling
School.
family wants to come in, a lot of the homeschooling families use the public library.
Yes.
So how would you compare the resource there versus the municipal resource?
We are, first off, if there's something I need, I just go through Sal's and order multiple copies. The library doesn't have that capability at the school. It's gauged primarily towards lower elementary because of bulk of our population.
Is the Route 8 library subsidizing the school library?
I use it for when I have a kid that's a real reader and I just can't keep up. If there's a series that they're into and we've got the beginnings, then I'll order the continuation through the Sal's account. The 6th grade does have a library card through the Town of Lake Pleasant Library so that I can order books to keep them going.
So it sounds like the Route 8 library is doing quite a bit.
I take a
For the
class.
school
I think
library.
that's any public library,
Yeah.
does that to any
I think
school.
any teacher who has that kind of,
Okay.
our school library
That's
just
normal.
is not part of the SAL system, so doesn't have access to all of the
Mm-hmm.
library. So if there's a book and I need 4 copies of it, I can order it through SAL's instead of having to buy it.
Right.
But is that really considered a subsidy? Are you talking about, do they donate books to the school or?
When we do our
Well,
park
when I use the
program,
word subsidy, I mean
Does it
utilizing the
support me?
resources that
Oh,
the town.
supplement.
You're
Okay.
thinking maybe the school doesn't get books because they can get them through the town.
no, they're changing over books all the time. They do,
I didn't know if there was any wiggle room there that there's no duplication of services, number one, for,
there is, they don't have a Lego, yeah, there's a lot of questions there. And that's a discussion for,
But the Lego Club is something that, it's an activity through the
after-school
library.
programs.
It's an after-school activity for children. It gets children into the library so they're,
Yeah.
can see what a library is there for and what they're,
I
what
mean,
it.
card catalogs don't
Yeah.
exist anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's here, actually, it's
I'm sure they don't.
I'm also on the SALS board, and our library really has impressed the SALS system. They're very pleased. We were told when we first started, we moved from where the museum is over to the old doctor's office there, doctor's house. We were told we couldn't do it. And through grants and everything back then, we proved them wrong, and we get accolades through,
Were you involved right at the very beginning when it was the community and culture, blah,
yeah,
blah, 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 blah?
CCMC, oh yeah.
Wow.
How was the decision made to make this a municipal library rather than a freestanding library?
Well, the town owned the building, I think that
Oh,
started,
that's why.
and there was money being given to the little museum library, you know, at that time,
Back when
so.
Teresa Morrison.
Right, right. I trained Teresa how to use a computer.
Oh, did you?
So, yeah, so,
Okay,
but
I just
I
was
think
curious
that's
about
how,
that.
yeah.
Oh, you know what, I'd like to add, I know, right? As the community outreach person, people, grant, whatever, you know, committee, I went to a conference with Sherry a couple of months ago up in Indian Lake. It was an education conference for Hamilton County. All of the libraries were present, all of the BOCES, all of the community colleges in the whole area that we access. And hands down, we were the biggest, and we got real kudos from the whole group for everything that's happened here. So it was kind of nice, you know, we were recognized as a
What do
great
you mean you
little
were the
library.
biggest?
I beg your pardon?
What do you mean when you say you were the biggest?
This library has the largest collection, the
Oh,
largest
okay.
square footage, and we're the only one that provides a big meeting space, which people went, oh.
You mean within the county?
Wow, yeah, in the county, yeah.
Well, I don't think, there's no question that the library is
question.
terrific.
Yeah, it is, it really is.
It's
But it
just
was
that-
really nice, you know, that we
To hear
kind
it.
of got
Yeah.
kudos from others.
Yeah, sure,
It was great, you know.
yeah.
Not that I will go to that meeting again, I think someone else will probably go next time.
Nope, because
Mm.
You didn't get notice in time of it. You did.
They were also looking into doing like in lieu of a community college.
yeah, don't do that,
Absolutely.
kids
Yeah.
lose tuition.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You
Never
lose
got
tuition
community
break.
college here.
No.
No,
You may as well
no,
forget
but I mean
that.
doing
A GED
distance
class,
learning
that would be
or
great.
something like that.
Well, that's what the
Distance learning,
school
that'd be
said
great.
when they needed to build a new school, was we will have adult education classes.
Oh, yeah, really?
Where are they?
Not there.
That's right.
They're
So,
not, are they?
No.
I wasn't here for that.
lucky you, you
Yeah.
I know, right?
Ay,
I
ay,
heard
ay.
about it when I got here.
I would love to see adult education classes
Me
here.
too.
Whether it's at the school, the library, you know, the pavilion, I don't care. I think adult education classes would be a
That's-
huge asset
That's
to
one of
the
the
area.
things that was on the surveys, people are looking for classes in photography or,
Excel or,
constellation.
yeah.
We've
Yeah.
done some with computers, but
Right
that was
now,
the
the
four
only
major.
classes I'm aware of are done by cooperative extension.
Although, I did a computer classes at school, a couple of years, and
Yeah, a
well
couple of years.
school.
Quilting, you know, I did
Any
quilting
more on
classes
the
at the school
library?
years ago.
Any more questions?
Randy's ready to move on.
Yeah.
Oh, Randy
You got me
wants
for-
out.
You got me for
like-
50 more minutes.
Okay.
What do you,
Is there
Lock the
anything
door,
else
you can't leave.
you wanna talk with me about?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Are we done?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for all the
Ken.
Nice
information.
meeting you.
You're welcome.
Me too, as well.
Thanks for good questions. Push, don't pull.
I need a sign for you.
we're a three Nancy board. How weird is that?
There are three what?
Nancy's on that board.
It's like a trend.
My other name is actually a different name.
We had three foreigners in the county named Don.
That's
Figure
true,
that
you
out.
did. Yep.
I
Spread
never
out
thought
very
of that,
nicely.
yeah.
Yeah. three or
Wow.
four.
Now we're going to highway?
Sure.
Randy's going down the highway.
Where are we starting, Randall?
I don't know. Anybody got questions?
Oh,
I'm sure I do.
the library board is in favor of paying to get those new and beautiful new steps. And the idea of looking, and, you know, from that money that's left from the expansion project. And, if you wanna look at Trex and get a price for them. Trex,
Truck, explain, not, you don't have to explain tracks.
okay.
Tracks.
Is that a
Decking
company?
or railings or, cause they make tracks railings, they make everything.
Well, there's what, 4 steps,
Yeah,
decking, the
Decking.
railing,
and the railing. Okay.
so that, you
I
know,
will
they
see what
don't,
that comes up to.
right, so it
Obviously,
doesn't,
it's a bit more.
if you could do lumber in that, and if it doesn't, you know, won't have
Scare
to
you
be
away.
replaced in, you know,
No,
2
they
years.
got lots of money.
We're gonna check on precast. Somebody was gonna check on.
Yeah, I was
precast.
supposed to, I have not gotten to that yet.
Okay.
Does Trex hold up well in this climate?
It fades, but that's about it.
No, I can live with
Um,
fading.
Trucks
Yeah.
have a non-slip surface.
Right. The standard is not non-slip, I can tell you that,
I
'cause
know that,
mom's
yeah.
deck is a sheet. It is as slippery as anything, when it gets a little fine mist on it. But, it doesn't rot away when you put calcium chloride on it. You know what I mean, it holds up to that. Screws, on the other hand, I'm finding do not.
Right.
The screws pop.
Yeah, you don't want those things.
Well,
Yeah, you'd wanna go
we'll
with
go by
stainless.
your expertise.
Yep.
I have an overall budget question that's gonna affect Randy's department more than anybody else's, because you have the most employees.
Well, there you go.
Always affects your department. Why are we giving a 2% COLA when this year's federal COLA is 1.6%? How does that work? I mean, it seems like the town always gives a 2% COLA, so is it, I thought it was tied,
Is it
for many
1.6?
years it was tied to what the government COLA was, and now all of a sudden it's like 2% every year. Do you remember, Don, when it started being 2% every year, no matter what?
We kind of went in past years by what the county did. And the county used to go by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I don't remember it ever being a 1 point or something, or a, you know, it's usually a round number. Bob, does that?
I mean, I know that we dealt with the county, but where the county got theirs from, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember when Frank was in there, he used to go through the
That kinda
Bureau of
goes with
Labor
my question.
Statistics.
My,
But
One of
GM is settling, and they're getting 3%.
so,
Well, I don't feel what anybody else gets.
right. The only thing that I feel on this whole discussion is, if we're gonna give 2%, 1%, whatever, we give it across the board.
Exactly.
So if it's 3%, 2%, whatever, it should be to all of it.
Has it not always been that way?
Yes,
Okay.
Well,
but
Well, I
in this
agree.
budget it is not,
It's not.
I did notice that, and I wondered why.
because we put in whatever department heads wanted, and we haven't
Oh, and
amongst
okay,
us
okay.
discussed it. So,
Okay, so,
That's part
now
of
the discussion
stage
is
of
here.
Yeah,
Hoping to do that tonight.
It's right now, how's that? What we wanna put down as.
well, perhaps we should postpone that and go to specific highway questions, since you're bound and determined to leave.
Okay,
Because we can always discuss the COLA later. I don't even know if I had any, wouldn't that be a miracle?
Dan, do you know if the
No
county has,
questions? No.
you do, because
Made
you
a
brought up
decision on
the
the
museum, and
whole
that's in my
county?
department,
I believe they're using 2%.
correct?
We're still, that hasn't, we haven't got to the,
yeah, you
That
haven't
part of
got to
it,
the nitty gritty yet, but I just
Yeah.
didn't know maybe what you were hearing.
that the proposals have been coming in at 2%.
And we would play follow the leader with the county
We don't have to.
to stay competitive, is that the idea?
Well, no, that doesn't really work to stay competitive anymore.
No,
Because we're far ahead of them.
and we wanna stay there.
I agree, but it doesn't have to be real far.
Right, I'm not asking to go above, but, at least, cause then we just follow that, down that slippery slope
Yeah.
again, and then we're right back in the hole again.
Guess
Not
what,
saying that we're
Randy?
out of the hole.
I don't have any questions about your budget.
Wow, that's pretty
I
good.
have one question before we adopt the preliminary
Wow.
budget, but I'll bring it up now.
What
I
about,
have a question.
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say somebody's got to, there's just way too much money there to not
That's
have.
my favorite
Well, I
question.
thought you did a good job on
I
that.
got one too, so, but you can go first.
You made a decision to put money into the budget for Hamilton Lake.
Correct. I'd made a decision, no, stop. I put
So-
extra money into the budget for crack sealing. I made a decision that the money that's in the budget, the standard amount to 160, some of that was going to go to Hamilton Lake this year.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
DD.
so you made a conscious decision. So, in making that decision, did you evaluate Gilmantown Road?
Yes.
And,
And Gilmantown Road. How should I put this politically correct?
Don't be politically correct. I hate politically correct.
Man, I hate not putting things politically correct when there's a camera right above my head.
You can erase the tape.
We have
Richard.
masking tape.
The amount of tax revenue that comes in on that is minute compared to the town of tax revenue that comes in from over there, being the houses that are on it and the resort that's at the end, and I'll call it that because that's what it is.
Did you factor in economic dollars for the vehicles that come into town utilizing that road? Payroll taxes, sales taxes, for people that work and commute.
If they're commuting that road, there's only going to be a handful of them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
not that
Okay.
many people.
And if they're commuting that road for economic reasons, they should, I mean, the majority of Wells people are gonna come up the state road. Okay,
You know, we,
the school teachers that come into this town are coming up the state road. Employees of Charlie John's, whoever it happens to be. There are a handful of people coming up Gilmantown Road, cause you go down there, you'll see the same handful, in and out, and in and out.
that road, because you can, once you get on the dirt section, it's like being back in the 1800s. That actually is a tourism attraction. It's promoted in various tourism magazines every so often, you know.
That's it, though.
As
I
I,
didn't know that either.
as I would,
But we'll keep it there just for that
I
reason.
guess the Hamilton Lake Road would have the same aesthetic.
Well, that's been my argument about the Hamilton Lake Road right along, is the people that go to that resort are having a wilderness experience, so let them experience the wilderness. But I agreed last year to agree to it this year if we set up reserve funds, which you probably remember.
Randy, how many homes are on Hamilton Lake Road?
5,
5 in
1,
total?
2, 3. I believe
And then
that.
how many within the town are on Gilman Town?
Hold on,
None year round.
1, 2, none year round. I think there's 4.
Okay.
There's 1, 2 up on Blueberry Hill, and I think there's now 2 on the right-hand side. Might be 3, there's 3, sorry, there's 5 and 5. Because they just added one. Johnny Vogel just built one down
Oh, did he?
there. Yeah, I think
The
last-
others are
last
like
summer.
teeny weeny little camps.
Well, no, no,
No?
Oh,
Some of those
no.
are pretty good size.
Blueberry Hill was quite the
No,
mansion.
not
sitting
Blueberry
there.
Hill. I'm talking about further down.
Yeah, down on the, yeah, they're smaller.
Yeah.
So on a home-to-home basis, just taking those 5, forget about it.
Revenue,
Yeah.
tax,
Is there an equivalency there? Is one higher? Is one lower? Don't know.
nah.
Okay, so your
And
statement
the-
previously was based upon the fact that what's at the end of the
And
road.
at the end of the road.
Got it, okay.
That is the,
That's the money pit.
So
okay, say that.
if you did nothing to that road, to Hamilton Lake,
Mhm.
the fact that IP is at the end of it,
Mhm.
my thought would be is IP is going to, if that road gets bad, IP is gonna take care of it themselves or
No.
do something
No.
with it.
No,
They
no,
don't.
no.
They
They will
can't.
be on my phone and they will be in every board meeting, screaming, yelling, carrying on that they demand it to be fixed.
Sometime in the
Has there,
not so awfully distant past, that road was accepted as a town road.
So,
And not only that, this, what you're saying,
yeah,
got really bad, the road condition.
Yeah.
And the fire trucks could not get in there.
okay.
And it was
So-
a mud pit in the spring.
Let me ask another question there. Once you get beyond the 5 homes that are in there, is all of the land on either side of the road belong to IP?
Now you got Camp San Souci in there.
Yeah, but I don't know who bought San Sushi did.
One of the
Yeah,
IP
it's still-
IP
executives.
by that?
I don't believe so.
I thought it was one of the IP executives that bought that.
Yeah,
It's not,
but it's not
it's not
under
part
the
of
same
IP.
corporation.
I figured IP bought it for him. What do I
Well,
know?
yeah.
I don't know.
It's close but not, so the whole, what we did for you probably isn't gonna work.
Well, my
Is that
thought
for
is what
yourself?
if the town just basically said, hey, IP from this point, from here down, you guys own all the property, and you own
You
that
wanna-
majority of the road,
To abandon it.
yeah, go ahead and, help yourself.
And if
So-
they own both sides of it, and the CHIPS revenue would be, 3 miles of our 27. So,
That would be
So you lose some revenue there,
yeah,
okay?
Just a point, if I'm not mistaken, that was for sale a few years back, and there was a nonprofit looking to buy it.
Yep.
Which would take it off the tax rolls. So that would be a really big hit to the town right there.
I remember
our
that.
revenue there.
The entire property
Yeah.
back there. IP was gonna sell it to a
we'd lose
nonprofit.
about $11,000 a year.
Hmm?
We'd lose about $11,000 a year on CHIPS alone.
On that portion of the road.
Yeah.
So how far is that, 3 miles or so?
Yeah,
Okay, alright.
Should you
It's paid for
consider,
itself.
the improvements to the Hamlin Lake Road, breaking it up over a 2-year period, do half of it this year and then half the following year? Cause you're looking at that type of surface having a,
would the chip seal half of it, then make my a 2-year plan a 4-year plan, is what you're saying?
yeah,
And then pave half, and then pave half. I think, personally, I think the idea of the company to come here, they're gonna get you for a day, 1 day minimum. Only pave half of it when they can do 4 miles, 5 miles in a day,
yeah, but there'd be other projects.
but not chip sealing. That's a specialty, we're not chip sealing anything else. To double chip seal, that would be a 1 day project, and then now you're gonna turn it into 2 half days, which is gonna be 2 days. Bill, I mean, that's, of the $42,000, hold on a second.
I'm just wondering if there's a way we can spread that total cost over,
There, I mean, yeah, it's like anything else, you divide it up, it's gonna be more
Yeah.
in the end.
How much over the CHIPS revenue did you add? Was it about 20,000? How much we get from CHIPS? and how-
87,000, we
get-
normally double that.
Okay.
We've been doubling that, let's put it that way, so that would be 174. You know, we match,
Right,
let's put it that way, we match chips. Last year we went 160. I agreed to knock it down. President, chip seal,
You knocked it down so we could start the reserve funds,
right.
which in the long run is gonna be a huge gift to the town.
Hamilton Lake Road, so there is $7,800 of equipment rental, let's say, of a $42,000 project. So take that 42,000, add set another $7,800. So now you're gonna take a $42,000 project, turn it into a $50,000 project for 2 years. I mean, that's the long and short of it.
because we'd have to rent the equipment again.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to bring them back here to do the other half. So you're gonna do 2 $25,000 projects rather than one $42,000 project.
Can the whole project be postponed a year? Chip sealing Indian Lake Road?
It's been postponed for 3 now.
I didn't know that. Okay,
The,
this was,
bigger.
this wasn't what you proposed last year,
No,
though.
no, two
'Cause I
two
really
previous.
can't say it
Yeah,
didn't.
right. The 2 previous years, I wanted to put base down on the road and,
At $100,000.
right. Much, 100,
Obviously, that would get pushed
160
down
or
the road when
70
you're talking that.
Yeah,
so you're saying instead of doing a base, you're gonna chip seal?
I'm gonna do a double chip seal, which they did on, the testing ground for the county was on the backside of Paseco,
Okay,
and it worked. And we put it on we didn't, the state put it on Moffitt's Beach, and everybody loves it over there. Keeps people slow, the little stones come up, blah, 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 and then top it after that, which I don't think the state of New York's gonna do, so that's gonna be an iffy situation in a couple of years. Because those
Randy,
little stones.
what is the chip seal? Is it stone and oil?
Yeah, it's the old stone and oil.
Okay,
First you put ones down, with the oil, which is a
Yeah.
bigger stone, and then they come back through immediately
with
and
those
put
small-
a 1A's in oil down, and that fills in the voids of the ones.
Yeah.
And it creates a crust, let's say, this. The reason, what you have to do to prep for that is put a very good stone base
Base on
underneath it, which
Now
we
we
have at Saginaw, Saginaw Estates.
True.
Hamilton Lake Road.
You already have that down,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
already down.
okay,
Um,
alright.
But we had trouble with the chip seal in the estates a few years ago too. right?
No, that was not chip seal, we
Oh, that
put
was-
chip seal on top of it to try to fix it.
Okay,
That was cold mix top, and the oil,
bad mix of coal.
mad mix of oil.
Oh,
That-
yes.
A disaster, it still is. It's way better now that we chip sealed it, but, cause it's
So
now
you
got
don't-
that crust on it until we wear that crust off.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, dollars and cents, I disagree with doing it in half, we're talking length, 5,000 feet of a mile of gravel road to chip seal right now. And then you
That's from the
have,
South Shore all the way in,
no, that
No,
is
it's
the
from
dirt
paved stuff.
section of,
up, okay,
so if you have pavement by the houses.
Yeah.
Then dirt, and then pavement that Jack did years ago.
Okay.
Okay, that section that Jack did years ago, he went in there because of the fire truck situation and this and that. Flat out graded it and paved it and did nothing underneath. And if you go over it, well, anytime in the wintertime or spring, you will notice it.
Yeah.
All the rocks are there, we've since then replaced all the culverts, but in my culvert changing scenario to get ready for the big paving job.
So these, can you just keep chip sealing?
Yes,
And preserving the base
yes.
forever, presumably?
People do that. Just keep putting chip seal on it and keep adding that on every couple years.
And then until there's a big heave problem or something, you're good.
Right, the problem with it is when you dig through it to dig a rock out.
Okay,
Now you just,
disturb all the.
well, you took that membrane and broke it up and it just fragments all over the place. I mean, you'll dig a hole this big and in the next 6 months it'll be room, size of this room of that stuff breaking up. Because once you take the hardness, or whatever it is that holds it together, out of it by digging through to dig a rock out,
That's what I figured when
and
I
you
said,
put
ripple
coal,
effect.
yeah, you put a coal patch back in it, it doesn't bind with that. I mean, it's a whole, sad to say, it's a whole science to it.
oh, I can see that is true.
And it all stems from the lovely, not being able to use the good old fashioned oil
Yeah.
that we used to use.
Has there ever been any serious conversations with IP taking ownership of that road?
Not ownership, I did ask and got laughed at very, very well if they would assist in paving of it,
Who laughed?
Any
Who
way-
laughed at you?
Maryland. Any way, shape or form, 20%, 50%, 40%, anything. And they said, no. Do you ask your citizens to help pay for their road? And I said, you have a viable point.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, but indirectly you are, by virtue of taxes.
Right.
correct.
And they're getting their taxes.
So what if you did it proportional to their taxes? In other words, you did it every 3 to 4 years after you've accumulated $40,000. You get what, you said 10 or 11,000 in revenue?
Yeah.
From
From the state,
the state.
right.
Yeah, but Randy builds a road and expects it to last 10 years.
It has to last before we can put any more state money onto it. That's,
How much,
6
do we
o'clock.
know how much revenue IP generates?
It's ambulance.
the tax revenue. It's been discussed several times, who's actually right, I don't know. Anywhere, I've heard from $250,000 from, to $75,000, if you believe that you came up with at one point in time.
That was the property tax revenue on all their parcels over there.
Right,
I thought you said sales tax.
no,
No.
no, no.
We
he's
have
talking
no
tax
idea
rate.
about
He's talking-
anything on sales tax. That's
Well,
a
the
deep
other
dark
thing is-
secret.
Huh?
That's a stealth resort. It's flying under the radar
Yeah,
at IP, which is why they had the make-believe put it up for sale.
Well, the taxes on the property out there are different than their taxes on their just forestry that they,
right, definitely,
yeah.
so.
No, I'm just
I wish they don't have
trying to
it, but I-
tie a benefit to the town of Lake Pleasant,
Yeah.
that's all.
Well, they're a large employer in the town.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. they can do
Well,
it like that.
definitely, they, it's gotta be eight, 10 of them over there.
Yeah.
I mean, think about any, besides for school or municipal,
Mhm.
it's one of the bigger ones.
And then they have
I always said
part-timers
they
at
could break
night.
casino.
Plus they donate stuff.
Oh, yeah, they're very generous.
Concert hall.
Nice golf course, I mean, nice facility there, it's,
Casino.
And run tournaments there, right?
and they're good to the community.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They support a lot of,
Yeah, you can see their stuff around.
I know
And
when
this
it
is,
was
this
making
is
Make-Believe
a
under
far
sale.
cheaper,
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
find a way to keep
Yeah.
make sure that we can get down below the cap.
right,
That's why I asked if we could break it down over 2 years,
I mean,
because half of that you're talking,
Yeah, if you're not taking that,
if you want it, if, let's put it this way, let me get back to where I was. I would rather see holding off
They did.
take the $20,000 that I put in there and hold off on the crack ceiling on all the rest of the roads for another year. Then let that continue to get swept under the carpet over there.
I would go for that, as long as we,
If there's a give and a take, that's where my avenue would go.
so you would not do the crack seal on what road?
I had it down for pretty much all of them. All the ones that we've done hot mix on.
Okay, so is that,
That's Oxbow Road, Fish Mountain Road, Tamarack Road, Fawn Lake Road.
so my only concern is, are we
compromising,
compromising?
but we never did it before,
No, this is something new because we're doing the hot mix
yeah.
and everything else. Is it going to catch us in the butt, here's what you're saying?
Yeah, because you know you're gonna get water and
And everything else,
in there.
correct.
And it's funny how, that makes things come apart.
Really? Huh,
Yeah,
It's been my experience.
it does.
But a lot of those
Things are
roads
not
are
to come apart.
pretty fresh.
Right, that's why I said that end. Fish Mountain Road gets all the traffic. It's the biggest one that I would, you know, it has some of the cracks that are on there. I can see if I can separate it out for, you know, maybe not take the 20 out, maybe for 5 for the one road. Because Oxbow Road, let's face it, it's in the dark shade, whatever. It hasn't moved and done all its stuff. Tamarack, it was just done last year,
Right.
so that should still be,
Fish
Yeah.
Mountain was the year before,
yeah, Fish Mountain, but that PPST, that's the one that's, I'm starting to see, you go around the corner at, well, I used to call it Tom Aikens, but, or entrance to Sacandaga Estates.
yeah.
That one, there's one there's one down by, Dave Brownius's, you know, 8-10 feet long, that's this wide. Or the road is moving, still underneath,
Yeah.
and it cracked it.
Yeah.
That's what the crack filling is for. It's not, there's just some areas on that road that need it. Fawn Lake doesn't get enough truck traffic to probably do any of that. And that was done the year before that.
Tamarack gets
No,
those.
Fish Mountain was done 3 years ago. Fawn Lake was done 2 years ago.
That's right.
Then Tamarack.
Mhm.
So that's why
Tamarack
Fish
gets
Mountain is
beat
probably
up
showing
pretty
most of it.
bad, doesn't it?
Huh?
Tamarack gets beat up pretty bad with all the
Yes, that's why we
tank
didn't put
trucks and.
what's called PPST, paved replacement. It's a different product on that road. We went with hot mix.
So leave 5 for crack sealing and
Take 15 out.
take 15 out?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yep.
For which one?
For-
For the machinery, equipment, no.
Dot 200,
That,
DB dot 200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta get back to my. I should have downpaged it, not closed it.
There is a difference.
There's a big difference.
So that 220 tentative becomes 165,000.
Right.
What one?
Which one now?
We are,
51,
51,
12,
200?
5112.
That's 180,000.
Yeah, that's, okay.
It goes down to 165.
Oh, yeah. Right
big
there, right
boy,
where I was
that-
looking.
Big boy.
That should be the biggest line on there except
Yeah.
for payroll.
Chris said something like 200, 200. He threw a curveball at me.
No, it's even more than payroll.
And you're hopping payroll from that at the end of the month? You're gonna go to DA?
Correct. I didn't know where you're going. I'm like, what?
My talking woman?
So, I'll probably bring up another bad subject since I'm already crucified here.
You picked your own poison.
Yep, this goes back to youth rec director. Earlier this year, she came forward and said that she couldn't do the job, do the
73,
programs because
10.1.
she
Hey.
got another job. So we're end up needing an assistant.
Well, we did before, but we couldn't even get an assistant before. Am I correct, Nancy, the year before?
I'm not saying she's not doing
Yeah.
a great job, don't get me wrong, she's the most,
Well, in
Yeah,
addition
I
to
think
that,
this year she has someone lined up, at least one person lined
Yeah.
up for
But
summer.
Randy's point is that,
I brought this issue up last year, if you remember.
yeah,
And Debbie sent me a job description for that position. And under the current job description that we have for that job, she doesn't have to show up for anything.
No, and Dickie
She's just
Mayers,
administrating.
honestly, in all the years I worked with Dickie doing it, he didn't.
right.
he didn't
Yeah.
even,
He,
Well,
no,
then,
no, in fact, we did a lot of the legwork for him with sending out notices and.
yeah,
and
so then the
lobbying.
question becomes,
Why are we spending,
yeah, the amount of why are we spending so much money on her? And she does do a good job.
She
I'm
does
not
a great
saying she
job.
doesn't.
From
She's- From what I can see.
what you just
she's
brought
doing
up,
great.
what Dickie was doing compared to her,
Night and day.
night and day.
Well, Dickie was like that at the beginning. When
I
my
don't
kids were
remember
little,
that.
he was like that.
Well, I know he
No,
wasn't
he
like
was
that
great.
when my kids were little. I fought with him tooth and nail, cause things
We were
weren't
always
getting
hassling
done.
just to get a meeting together.
Yeah,
Really?
to put ads in the
That
paper
sounds
for
good.
summer.
Now she's giving monthly reports for crying out loud. I mean,
Mhm.
that's fine and dandy. I mean,
Well, it goes back to that civil service job description that some previous board adopted. We may have to, if we wanna change things somewhat, we may have to
Start there.
rename the position that she fills, or choose a different position for her to fill. I don't know how you would do it. Because youth programs director, I've got it on here, the job description. So if we're gonna make a change, this is the time, I guess, before the appointment comes up in January.
Well, what kind of a change did you wanna make?
I just don't think it's worth $5,253 a year to administer a 1-month program.
It's not just a 1-month program, it's year-round.
It's a ski program
She
too.
does,
That's it.
she
Ski
does the
program
ski
she doesn't
pro.
have to be there for because the Oak Mountain runs it. So, and you know, Youth Rec used to be eight weeks. Now it's 4 weeks. You know, and there was
We
never a
can't- It's hard
salary
to get
adjustment.
someone to do it.
Well, and
Well-
also the sad part is there's not a lot of kids doing it.
Yes, they'd rather stay home and play video games these days. But I wouldn't wanna see the ones that do participate be deprived,
Exactly.
Correct.
you know?
It's just a
Did she
a mute point at
about-
this point, I guess, but
No, it's not, because
did she calculate the 14 grand for Oak?
Oak brings that figure to us.
Oak gives that figure and
Based
they
on
raised
the
it.
information she gave Oak?
No, I think it was based on the kids that took ski lessons this year, what their rates were gonna go up to next year.
Yeah, they changed their price per child.
Yeah, but
And
how
we're
many kids
also
are gonna do it this
paying-
year? Who does that information transfer? Someone,
I
Oak has
don't,
to-
I know that.
Oak has to suck information in order to come back with a number,
Oh, well,
right?
it probably is historic,
Yeah.
because it's whoever, you know, whatever they did this year.
It's based, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
I
I
didn't,
know.
I
they
just
get-
wondered how the process
The
worked.
reason it went up this year is because the children are participating in sanctioned ski racing.
And the insurance went up too.
Right,
Did it?
and
We're
we
just
are
trying to close the
also,
loop on the
do you
flow of
wanna,
information.
you wanna close a little loop? We're paying for the O'Brien kids to take ski lessons.
Mm-hmm.
They're eligible.
They're taxpayers,
Okay.
they're citizens.
I guess when you see something like that and you
I got-
say you're kinda paying,
yeah, but you don't wanna.
You can't
You
say
gotta tell,
holy
you gotta tell the
cow.
O'Brien kids that, who wants to tell the O'Brien kids they can't take it because they're
no,
the
but
O'Brien?
maybe they can take them, but or should we be billed for them?
Well, if they're getting the same training as the other kids are, then.
Yeah, you're not
There's-
going down. You don't
No,
wanna
we're
do
not
that.
gonna go
Right,
down
I
that,
don't
but
think
that's
there's
something,
anything
I
we
mean,
can
while
do
we're
about that.
nitpicking
That's all.
different places, that was something that didn't sit right with me.
No, but to close the information loop. I don't know where it starts and where it ends.
I think the information's given to the school and they provide the permission slips to go out.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm thinking it should be starting at school, right? Who wants to take lessons, who's gonna
Well, I don't
sign
know
up
that
for
it
lessons?
starts at the school.
No, but it goes
Starts
home in book bags and stuff, all
It
the,
starts
yeah.
with her, then through the school,
Mm-hmm.
because they're gracious enough to do it.
Her meeting Laura, or her
Yeah.
meeting, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not,
The rec director.
it's not
the rec, yeah.
Samantha.
Yeah,
No,
she'd
it
be
is
the one-
Samantha.
She would be the one that would communicate back and forth with Oak.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the golf course, she sets up golf lessons, she, you know, and the trips, they're taking 2 trips to hockey games at the end of this year, and
Yeah, that's to make up for the days she canceled during the summer program.
Okay, done.
So
I think we ought to get a retired person to be the youth rec director.
Not gonna be me, I assure
Don, you do a wonderful job.
You wanna pay me 5,200?
No. No.
Okay,
I think that's the point,
I don't do well with children.
Yeah, me neither. I love the
I
little
know.
darlings, but I, you know,
So
have
is it
low
somebody
tolerance
else's?
level.
well, I
Teenagers,
taught,
'cause
and
you can
I
rough
wouldn't
them up a
wanna do
little
it.
bit. Not the little ones.
What do you have for a question?
Well, what are we gonna do? We're gonna leave it what it is? We're gonna move? I
I'd
mean,
say if
Hey,
you
let's
wanna
move on.
lower
Yeah,
it,
let's move on.
lower
A little
it
bit of
down
money
to
that's there,
2%.
Yeah, let's, yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
It would be-
Dickey got the same cost of living raises all the way through each year as every other employee got,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, but there's gotta be a point at which this position tops out. And she's not an employee, she's an appointed. person.
Well,
So you can top out a position and say it just doesn't pay any more than that.
the problem is, if we nickel dime so many of these little positions, you're not gonna get anybody to serve on them.
I don't wanna make that assumption.
I
Okay,
do.
Don't have a rec director, see where it goes.
Mm. It's gonna be in the same position the library board's in, where the library board does half, a lot of the volunteer work, and that turns into,
Well, you'd think that would inspire them to get a volunteer crew going again.
God knows, we tried.
I'm just saying, I think that position is topped out, I don't think it should pay more than $5,000 a year. And then just, that's it, it's topped out, end of subject. So it's something we might wanna think about. There are two other positions that I feel the same way about, and that's the justices. I think that they've topped out several years ago for the amount of hours that they have to put in on those positions. I think that's another thing we should think about. Does this keep going up automatically, year after year after year after year after year?
And we're paying a lot more for our justices than some of the other towns are.
Oh, yes, we are. So that's something else to think
But our
about. Do we wanna set a
justices-
limit for those positions?
Our justices have the most workload because of the
I would like to
jails
see
here.
I'm
that
not sure that's
from
the
the
case.
Department of
Well,
Justice
Seems to
stats.
be.
Well, what seems to be.
No, I mean, that's what's been, I don't have personal information with what goes on in court. I'm just saying, just from what I've heard in the past about how this court seemed to be the one that when they can't get any other, they're on their way there anyway, so they just stop and do arraignments.
No, I don't think that's how it works. I believe it's where they get stopped.
No.
Oh, no.
Well, even
No,
though-
no,
Not
you were a
necessarily.
judge.
If there's no justice available. She's probably right about that, but that's just the arraignment.
Yeah,
That's nothing else. Then it
Those are
switches
the
back to
2
the
o'clock in the
court.
morning things.
Exactly.
well, there's
Yeah.
been a problem on the county level with the judges not answering their phones, so,
Right.
and it's not just the other towns either.
I can't speak to that for sure.
Yeah,
Me either.
I know I was out of bed lots of times.
Yeah.
And you weren't getting paid anywhere near that much.
No, and I was my own clerk.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. I wouldn't mind paying them that much if they were doing their own clerk work. I just think that it's gotten out of hand a little bit.
Especially when you see a sign on the window.
Yeah. If you need the
Oh,
judge,
if you're
call.
here, yeah, call the number.
Sometimes there's no number.
I don't know, I haven't been fortunate enough, I haven't gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Been a
think
while.
that's if they didn't get people replying to tickets if they were
There's
coming.
nobody on the docket, obviously,
Right.
So if we're so busy,
That's good.
why does that happen?
That would be good clerk time.
Exactly. I think it's something that maybe we could sit down as a board with justices and discuss.
Well, I would think that's where it would have to go. And
Yeah, I wouldn't wanna just.
Yeah,
say,
just unilaterally,
"Surprise!
we'll blame you, so you
that's
get
fine.
taken in.
I'm only in this for one term to do the things that I think are necessary." Then hopefully somebody else takes over and does things that they think are necessary. So I'm willing to be the bad guy.
well, what is it?
A fork.
Dan, do you think we should meet with the justices?
I think we should, yes,
Is that something you would set up?
I sure will.
Sounds interesting.
I'll send both of them an email and, try to set up a time. When would be the best time to do that? Sooner than later.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'll see what I can come up with.
Yeah, I don't know Katie that
Just
well,
when
but
it's
I know Don's a
interesting.
reasonable person. So Andy, you wanna start any more trouble before you go?
Sure.
Okey-dokey.
You sent me an email about museum,
Yes.
Yes, I don't, I almost forgot.
so. I'll stir up my own trouble myself.
7140.4.
I just went by it.
Yes,
While you're doing the concrete for here.
Here.
you got to see all the lovely pictures, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't know if you, this is something, I thought maybe the guys weren't so busy right at the moment. You said,
Really?
well, you told me you were all ready for winter, that was your report at the
Yeah.
last board meeting.
They're
And
paving.
the paving is done.
Today it's done. Let me see those, so I can give
You can have them.
clericals. I can have them.
Yes, you can.
I would like to know
I was
what
just-
everybody
You
would
can
like to do
frame
with some
them.
of this stuff.
Well, I think the foundation is the most important thing.
Snow.
Oh, there you go. Covered everything.
That one's done.
That one's done, check that one. So, things like this means that the foundation is moving.
Right.
So we can patch that. And next year it's gonna move again, it's gonna be broken again.
Can't we stuff it
Correct.
full of silicone? That's what I did at my house, it worked.
Yes.
That was
So
10
here
years
is
ago.
a patch that maybe even Don did.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I
You did.
And you notice it's still cracking.
Well,
So structurally,
there has to be.
it's not fixing it.
Right, but if we dig under that, if you dig under that corner, that's not
Okay.
something that your men could do? Dig down below the forest line and pour a pier under there? I don't know what's under this building.
Nothing, that's the problem.
Okay, there's no footings?
There's maybe footing, probably not 4 feet under the ground.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And everything is on piers in there. And the floor joists, see, these are.
Piers like concrete blocks stacked up?
No, as in rocks that are stuck together,
Okay,
grouted together and made a foundation or whatever. And it's over time, moving, cracking, falling. And then you get into the,
What's that blue stuff?
that's a
Paint.
Vice boat,
That's a bucket full.
it's a John Vice guide boat.
yeah, it's a guide boat.
Oh.
The blue is paint.
Oh, okay. Okay, I couldn't figure out if that was part of the building or not.
No.
No. That's hiding part of the foundation breaking and cracking and so on and
Sorry, holding the floor up.
so be it.
Ah, there it is.
Hey, look, another page of snow.
Oh.
That thing's a mess.
So, if you went into the back room, which I'm sure you did,
Mhm.
and the floor is very spongy and so on, we investigated underneath that, it would need a whole new floor.
I didn't notice the floor.
Floor joists, everything. So this, we all did this when we took out the furnace that was sitting on there. That, with a concrete slab on top of it, which was making the floor go like this. And we busted up the concrete slab and took it out of there. The reason is trying to preserve it. Now, they're not supposed to be using that room, it's only access to the
And that's
outside.
part of the reason why.
And that's the biggest reason
Yeah,
why.
because
Oh.
that
The
used to have a
back
desk
room
in
is
there,
almost
right?
falling off. So we, at one point in time, they were asking us to make it handicap accessible. Which we investigated very thoroughly. And point blank and simple came to the effect that we can't afford to do that. Because as soon as we start operating on the structure of the building, we now have to bring it up to code.
Is it time for us to think
Now,
of giving that building to the Historical Society?
they don't want it. We tried that.
They don't want us to, they know.
Because can't afford it.
Yeah.
How many square feet is a museum?
That's-
It's 42 feet long from the front of the porch to the back. And I
And
think
it's
it's
20,
20
I think.
feet wide.
20 feet wide, I would
800
say.
square feet?
Yeah.
They could probably use 600 square feet.
Yeah,
We got 600 square feet in the library?
We tried that also.
yeah, there was,
The library board didn't want to dedicate 600 square feet to that. That was back when the heating came up. Cause if you think this budget's bad now, you should have seen it when we were trying to heat that building.
Mm-hmm.
How much was it running a year? Cause Shorty tells me it was almost nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, oil was a lot less then.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, yeah, we'd have to go by gallons.
Down page this,
1970.
this is worth me sticking around
Can you
for.
just email it?
You missed dinner for this, right, Randy?
Yeah. Let's see, 2010.
I was just a boy.
That's as far as my records go back, so we'll start there.
Okay. Give me gallons.
You gotta wait.
Oh, sorry. Do you need a new computer, honey? We can upgrade it for you.
Heating, oil, heating, type of buildings, culverts. Where's heating?
Is that something the library board might read?
I don't think so. I don't know where we would
How
put it.
come? How come?
They might not.
I'm just
Under
asking.
the underbuilding?
You can give them the whole children's room
Yeah,
because the
but I mean,
children's
where-
activities moved to the
Fuel
school.
budget.
Where, no, they haven't.
The
Museum.
reading club has.
That's sponsored by Friends of the Library. That has
Okay,
nothing to
so
do with the library.
19
That's a separate thing.
Yeah.
No, we have kids programs in ours. We have reading
there.
programs and Lego Club and a bunch of other
So
programs that they have.
About-
Movies.
You gotta add those.
yeah,
I
I
don't know
gotta
where we
add
would
those.
put something like that. The meeting room would be the only place. And we have a display in there right now.
700.
Grand.
There's a grand, and this has a note
Separate
over
from the
here,
museum.
452.
That
See,
display,
someone's
is
been
that
here,
separate
probably
from
me
the
before that.
No, that's the museum
452
brought it over.
gallons?
No,
Okay,
no,
alright.
I don't have gallons, I only have, on this one, I
Didn't
only
you
have
notice it? It's
dollars.
that-
No, I know where it
So I'm
was.
at
I didn't know if it
1500.
was associated with the
Okay,
It's
museum.
in
1500.
Oh, yeah.
2010.
I
You
presume.
got
it
11 on
was.
there?
I
Yeah.
didn't assume, I presume.
Okay. Yeah. keep it. No, seriously, I don't know
See,
where
this
we
is
would
before
put
me.
anything that big. Put another edition on, can make that you. When we did the first addition to that building, the initial building,
Museum,
wanted to make it a lot bigger
2246.
and I got shot down.
$2,246
And I said, within 5 years, we'll be putting
Yep.
another
in
edition.
2011.
Yep.
Okay,
There we go.
could you keep going?
Oh,
I said, we're gonna end up with a U. The
Now that I
courtyard in
figured
the
out where
middle.
we've been hiding it all.
Okay.
Well, it's too bad.
Museum,
The
must
sentiment
be the year
wasn't
we
there,
shut it
maybe,
off.
you know.
only
That was,
$810.
that was the Fowler,
When
what
it
Camp
was-
Fowler.
Oh, I thought you
don't-
turned it off in
See,
2011.
oh,
That was,
It would be a good
2012,
feature
we
home
put
for the.
$810 in there.
yeah,
And it probably, that was probably.
I think the
56.
fact that that building is like
No, I
the
can show you
original
that
town
too.
hall and all that.
195
you know,
of it went
I
in
know you don't get
January.
the same aesthetic value,
That's
that
for
was it.
sure.
creaky floors.
That's the fault problems of being used.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
It was,
Oh, wait a minute. See? Huh. Don't forget, someone put $614 worth of kerosene.
I was gonna
Yes,
say, was that where the
wasn't that
kerosene-
what was keeping it kinda going?
That was in 2012?
Yeah. So,
You have to cut fuel oil and kerosene when it's stored outside.
right, and
Had to
So it
cut
wouldn't
the,
freeze
we
up,
had to
yeah.
cut the fuel with kerosene so it wouldn't freeze up.
So,
yeah,
Oh,
so $810 was for that year, but that ended in January. That was the last.
It could've gone on.
They tried to make it go
I
on.
know.
I will make sure that that's.
Is the attic
I know it
heated at
wasn't
the
running
library?
in 14.
Is
I
the
can
attic
say that.
heated at the library?
I don't think so. I don't think anything was
It's
heated.
insulated.
Attic heated? Yes.
Oh.
It's
So
not
furnaces are-
heated, it's all the furnaces are up.
Oh, at the library. I'm thinking the
Yeah,
museum. I'm
The 3
sorry.
boilers are up there,
Yes,
so that's what keeps it warm.
yeah. Hoping that the icicle situation is fixed.
It should be, because they fixed it.
Museum zero
Yeah.
in 2013.
I'm sorry, I was
The
thinking
12 will cut it
museum.
okay.
And I'm thinking, why is he asking me?
Well, I remember when they were building the library, they insulated the rafters. and stuff.
So
Yeah.
structurally, this is a
And
major project if you wanna get into foundation work.
Gotta be at least 60,000.
I would say more than that.
More than that. even if we did the work to get,
You'd have to jack the place up.
yeah, and then what you're gonna jack, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or you're talking, and I know my guys are not gonna be
Well,
happy
it
about
doesn't matter, cause if
getting
you're,
underneath there and putting I-beams up to jack something up, that's not what
if
their
you're
forte
getting
is,
into structural,
There's a guy did her
we
old
wanna stay
house,
away from that anyway,
Smith's.
right?
right?
Yeah,
Huh?
You said if we get into structural, then we have to redo
Correct.
everything to meet
I
ADA.
believe that's what Bob,
I
yeah.
think you're right.
and that involved, just so you know the realm of that, not only redoing inside,
36-inch doors,
But didn't that,
handicap access
didn't that hit
bathroom, and
historical?
yes, it is a historical, so if we
So-
did somehow convince the
It's a
historical
time bomb.
people, then I think we could get grant, they could get grants for it.
No, they can't because they're not an official museum.
No, see, that's what the library went through, that. We had to
Really?
become
I
a,
didn't know they weren't
chartered
an
library.
official museum.
what makes them non-official?
yeah. They'd
They're
probably have to be chartered by the state.
Yeah, they would have to be chartered by the state.
And
and
probably
also-
that would have to be a
Yeah,
But
you have to
isn't it-
apply.
ADA compliant building.
No, I mean,
No?
you could
Oh.
apply,
Oh.
someone probably never applied.
Right. Is that a,
I
on
was
the,
thinking
it's on the
grant would be the
National
way to go to
Register,
get
isn't
this.
it now? Or did,
I
I know
think
she
it
was
is.
Grant should be
working
the way
on
to
it.
go to get this
I think it is, I'm not sure.
fixed. You can
And if
Band-Aid
it
this
is,
thing
then you gotta
to
be
death
real
somewhere.
careful with what you do.
Put the sign in front of it, the historical.
Mhm.
and the
Correct,
registry,
last summer they put the sign up.
Which I put a sign up.
That was a while
I put
ago.
Was that-
Andy
really?
and I put that up,
Okay.
Don was just a young man then.
Hmm,
yeah, that was years ago.
okay.
Anybody ever run across the
Oh, no, they
Bidwell
put the
Hotel
big
sign?
sign up.
What?
The Bidwell
And they put-
Hotel
So they
sign?
can remove
I
it.
haven't seen it.
That's what we did.
They take it down every year.
Yeah.
We're inside.
I wonder what part of the world that is now.
Hard to say, but it's probably in existence.
So, yeah, I do believe we need to address some situations down there.
So is this
Like-
a ticking time bomb in
Yes.
4
Oh.
years, 3 years?
If there's ever
7
a
years?
thorough insurance investigation down there, I think they're gonna shut the doors.
This isn't the only,
No, it's
It's
not
like
the
a
only
building.
one, and every time I've walked one of our adjusters around our properties, and the museum's right down here, and he's like, historical museum, blah, 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 blah. I said, yep, that's the correct one. He goes, okay.
Yeah.
Never even wants a picture. We have pictures on file. That's the last two times I've walked the guy around.
That's good.
And that's exactly, I'm like, why open up that can of worms? Cause it will
Well-
cost,
What my fear is, now that you've told me the condition of that floor in the back room,
the back room is definitely,
Annie goes in there with the wheelchair.
well, she has to use the bathroom.
Well, if she falls through the floor, who's gonna get sued?
Down Lake Pleasant.
Yep.
Probably nobody.
Mhm.
Knowing Andy.
Well, I would like to think probably nobody, and I think you're probably right about that, but if she got badly hurt, she'd have to sue to get her bills covered.
Well, it'll be workers' comp for,
Yeah.
at the very, very least.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
what do? You put no entry, a sign on the door?
Well, I'm starting to wonder if we should just take that back addition off. And
But-
deal with the rest of it as best we
What are
can.
we
But
gonna do
with
with
the
the bathroom?
bathroom.
Once again, we go back to, is that her office? Does that employee has to, see, don't shake your head, we've been
Well,
here
we
before
went
too.
through that. She used to have her desk back there, like literally right next to the boiler, right?
Yep, right, pushed up against the boiler.
Yeah.
Who's where the assessor's cubby used to be?
With
We
these-
got this room, Kathy, and then yours, right?
Then the Bob,
Then
Bob
Bob
and-
and,
But where
Yeah.
Kathy is now, didn't that used to be two little cubbies?
No,
no.
No, all right, I'm thinking something else.
you're talking the vault used to be our lunchroom, behind us.
There's
That's
a,
going back.
there were two cubbies here for the voting the
No, it
voting.
wasn't that. That's-
It's gotta be the vault behind Bob's.
yeah.
That used to be, cause that door goes
Oh,
into
yeah,
our
yeah,
shop,
yeah,
that used to be
yeah,
our
yeah.
lunchroom,
That's a storage room now.
that's the storage room.
Is it heated?
You can put them.
No, she wants an office space.
It's
She'd
not-
like it to be here.
Is it handicap accessible?
Right there, that door.
Yeah.
Handicap sign out front. And she'd have to, these are all 36-inch doors, right? No, that doesn't look like that one.
That one looks a little narrow.
That one looks a little 32-ish.
Yep, or 30.
Does that storage room have an outside door?
There's an
Door.
outside door to Bob's office, but it's a
That's
step
That's
up.
a step.
Step
Yeah.
up.
That's a step, but
Right.
and that'd be, if she had to build something up.
And what are you gonna do with everything that's in there?
Yeah.
'Cause that place is
Well,
full.
that's the historical society stuff.
No, no.
No, no, no,
In that
no.
room now.
In that
Oh, in the
room.
storage
Oh,
room.
yeah, it's
Oh,
packed.
Got a record.
Okay.
We built shelves on top of shelves on top of shelves in there.
Okay,
Don did that too.
Consolidate. Yeah.
so that's
I
not
did
a
that
good
too.
idea.
Well, you're getting blamed for a lot.
I know.
I did what I was told.
Good answer.
I didn't always agree.
So I think that's a mute point until we make up a plan, maybe for upcoming years to
Why
get.
don't you plug that in?
Now, we have a furnace room here, if that makes her feel comfy.
Yeah, that's even tinier.
Yeah,
We get yelled at for
So
putting
there just
anything in
isn't
there.
any space here.
that's
No.
right, no.
Well, go back to that too. Put concrete floor and move us up to the shop, up
Yeah.
to the new pole barn, and then take a couple bays.
That's what we were originally gonna do when,
That was the original plan.
Then a new pole barn.
Yep,
For-
the new pole barn.
office space.
Office
And
space.
storage space.
They're gonna take one bay, the first bay of this garage,
Right,
move these walls out and make it all, there's a plan here somewhere of this.
Yeah.
whole
Right in
thing.
there.
Yeah,
But what was
Then we
the
built-
price of the concrete in the pole barn? Remember
it
that?
was $18,000 a bay.
Oh,
There's
20, I thought it was,
And that was the first year you started,
yeah,
so that's probably up to 20
yeah.
easily now. 6 bays,
So that would have to be done first.
5 bays, one's already done.
Yeah,
And you gotta heat.
And then you gotta insulate. And then you gotta heat.
No, I don't think we need
Yeah.
any more heated space.
160 by
Is it,
60.
you know, is there
You
any
could drain
chance
it.
she could have an office space at the library?
You really wanna see the propane guy come.
Is there a little
but
area
Nothing
that
better.
could be
Oh, it's awesome,
like walled off
but
or
it's
something?
expensive.
I,
I don't think. it's
I
any
don't
more
know as
expensive
far
than
as that goes, that,
Yeah.
I can bring it up to
Probably
the
this
board.
or,
Seems like that would actually
you
be a
do it
better
right.
place for her,
Mm-hmm,
because she'd have access to resources there. Like all the Hamilton County news back to, I don't know, the early 30s are there.
mm-hmm.
So then you just, going where you're going with this, we'll take the back room off thing. You would put a ramp in the back door that's there now, without the room, is what you're saying.
But you still
You
need,
mean in the door that goes from the big main room into the back room?
Correct.
I guess that's not gonna work, because how is she gonna get,
What are you gonna do with the bathroom?
you got it, the bathroom, isn't
The
that,
bathroom is the
isn't
issue.
that illegal to have working space for a woman without a bathroom?
Why wouldn't?
Why just women? Gender neutral now.
Yeah,
because you
you
got
got
outdoor
outdoor
with outdoor
plumbing,
plumbing.
exactly, exactly.
Or
No, when
facilities.
I worked, ancient history, when I was in college, I worked for a metal fabricating company, and I was the only female. I worked in the office, and they built a bathroom for me, because they said that was, they had to have that, a special designated room. And I said, oh, wish you tell my husband that.
Like being a colored lady in the, up to the 50s.
Yeah.
And
No
new,
bathrooms.
new to see this year at NASCAR races, they do have handicap porta potties.
Like I never wanted.
Good to know.
Now
Are they
they're-
big enough
now
to
they're
put an
at
office
NASCAR.
in?
No.
If you get 2 of them.
Now,
they
that
could
would be
an
very
office.
nice, because if you go in a porta potty and you have your purse, it always goes in the urinal. No,
Things I
yeah,
don't wanna know.
I know,
Information.
Too much.
too much information.
That's what husbands are for.
Mhm. Exactly.
Hold the purse.
Stand by the door and hold the
But
purse.
that library bathroom too, all the water feed is underneath the bathroom.
The museum,
In the museum.
Museum, yeah.
Water comes in under it?
Yeah, the meter's underneath the floor there and
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, they got a build-up.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get through this weekend, or no, that was last weekend. So, back to the next
So
week.
we're gonna try to meet with the judges.
So do you pull in or they pull?
No, we pay a fee for them to come in and pull
I
in.
kind of figured that was. the way
One
you
day
do
that
it.
isn't
Oh,
good
yeah.
for me is the
makes
24th,
Yep.
because John's having surgery that day, and I am his rider.
So-
Any
You
more
want that
questions
to
about
happen
museum,
before
Chris?
the preliminary, or
Yeah,
I have a
so we
question.
gotta do it.
the
before
tentative becomes the preliminary?
At this point,
There's still
as far as
time to
the
wangle in
I
between.
understand, but
maybe we're gonna
But
start-
How do you
whenever,
wanna
you
position
said
yourself?
sooner rather than later, so.
because
Let's pick a date we wanna try
Monday
to
you're
do it.
supposed to pass the preliminary, or the
The,
tentative.
on the,
Yes.
not,
And I have not heard
Monday?
from Boo
I'll have to email
because
you
Dan is not
what
here.
days I
this
couldn't-
week.
Wow.
He's on vacation.
Unless it's gonna be
21st.
in the evening,
I
I
won't
might be
put it
okay.
Okay,
wow, how
We can do
time
it in the evening.
flies.
I won't play
We
tomorrow.
gotta come up with a chunk of money.
if it's better for you.
Yeah,
something we
so
oughta make.
that's,
I
got two
probably
engines.
have
Yeah,
daytime hours free right now, but I have to look at
Don.
Yes,
the hospital trip schedule.
Do you know anything about
And the
Lake
doctor
Pleasant
trip schedule.
trucks? Fire department?
they're,
how bad are they?
they're fixed.
They're fixed.
Okay,
That's a plus.
that's a big plus.
Because our contract says if you have a major thing that we want to.
Yeah, no, they're fixed.
Okay.
I talked to Andy today, and one was a pressure relief valve or something that was leaking, and
Mhm.
it wasn't letting the truck prime.
Okay.
That was on the main pumper, and I'm not sure what happened to the other one.
The other one had to be electrical, cause all the lights went on.
Yeah.
And the dash and everything.
That's the
Good.
problem with
Yeah.
cars nowadays.
Not looking at any, oh my God, it's coming there.
Good.
no, it
pump
was
replacements
fixed.
or anything like
There's your question.
John,
Wait,
John
why do I
was
gotta-
filling,
I gotta add
doing
Don.
something with it when I left, I know he was over there.
Yeah, I was just knowing what
Big
is in
iffies.
the contract.
My dinner. is
I
sitting.
know,
I wanted to know
don't
what's
you know,
going
I
on.
asked that too,
Any more
yeah.
questions?
Not for you.
My wife and I
I'm
were
going to
concerned,
torment
so
the
I
rest
missed
of them.
that.
Okay.
'Cause
Anything I should know about that we're tormenting?
Well, I wanna talk about A 7310.400, which is youth programs,
Mhm.
which we budgeted 6,000 in 2018 and spent almost 3,000. Budgeted 6,500 this year. So far I've spent almost 1,800 and show 7,000 again. I think that we can cut that.
Seems logical.
I mean,
There were, I gave you notes, I don't have them with me. She had a list of stuff that still had to come in, bills,
You guys mind if I leave?
and
Yeah,
her
sure.
hockey games or something like that.
she shows, this is through September 30th.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean all the bills
Okay,
are
I'll
in.
stay here.
I understand that.
Tell the wife to put it in the refrigerator.
I forget what exactly that, oh, well, you got my envelope and everything.
Hey,
You're right on the ball.
whatever you people did, I have.
Strength in numbers.
Notes.
Notes, notes. Didn't I write your notes? Yep.
7310-101 summer aids, minimum wage for 2020 is $11.80. So you put in for $12.
So I'm looking at youth programs,
Oak Mountain raised
7110.400.
prices. Which one, 400?
400, not Oak Mountain, the other one.
Notes, upcoming and outstanding bills, 2 hockey
Do you have any
games.
more questions for me?
No, so
You guys mind if
We
I
know
leave?
where you
Thank
live.
you, Randy.
have a
You
good
know my
dinner.
number.
Have a good dinner.
I know you.
And I have
you,
your email address.
You and you do.
Where are you going to dinner?
My wife cooked all day long, and then I walked in the door at 4 o'clock. Said, "Oh, by the way, I gotta go to a meeting at 5."
And you're still going home, huh?
That's why you make the big bucks,
She
Randy.
said she could turn it down and make it for 6:30, and I'm like,
Okay, I'll be there, don't worry.
You're close.
I'm sorry. Dance lessons, golf lessons not paid yet.
Okay.
I think that's been paid, but I'm not sure if it's in here. I think it might have been
Add
in there.
more to Halloween party.
We didn't do anything for that anyway.
No, I think she was gonna
She was
try to
talking
do
like to the
something
golf course,
after
a dance out
the,
there or
yeah.
There's
something.
no number.
Well,
Costume
it's not
dance or
useful.
something.
It just.
She talked about that
thoughts.
this past,
Either
maybe a month or so.
more
ago.
activities would,
I saw the voucher on that, it wasn't that much.
The golf lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
more activities with
pretty low.
trailblazers.
They fund.
I'm-
it.
I'm just
Trailblazers
the messenger.
funds it. That's a county project.
Oh, okay, so there's no money involved for us.
No, there shouldn't be any money
Trailblazers is
involved for
county,
us.
Yeah, but I think she
Well-
well, I'm not sure if she wanted to add to that to do more stuff, or I don't know.
Where are you, Chris, now? It's,
I'm on A 7310.401. I don't know if Trailblazers is still free to the children, as far as I know it is.
Is that still limited?
What's that?
Trailblazers?
I don't even know what Trailblazers is.
It's a county program, you're supposed to
Really?
know that.
It's under
Yeah,
Never heard
community
of it.
services.
yeah.
Yeah,
What was your question?
If it's still limited, when my kids were there, it was limited to kids that had issues of one variety or another.
Oh, I know at the beginning, they wouldn't take kids with issues.
Yeah, well, then they changed it to kids with issues
Okay.
and to help them,
Yeah, that makes
Whatever,
sense, that was
yeah.
the whole idea.
but it was, we used to get money, the town used to get a revenue towards our youth rec program, and when that got established, it limited, you remember that,
Yeah.
what, we didn't get any money from the county anymore
Mhm.
because of that program,
Because they
but then it
started
was
that.
limited to who could actually use the program, so. Wasn't
Allison was involved.
Allison
Yes,
involved
she
with that?
was,
Yeah,
for quite a
Yeah,
while.
and she did a great job with that, I know.
So what are you saying,
it
we
was a great job.
cut
with everything.
7310,401 to what?
This is my daughter.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, she had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
10,400, right? Is that what
I'm
you're looking
thinking
at?
we could cut it to 4,000.
The programs?
Yeah. Youth programs, dot
Well,
400,
18 was 3,000.
right?
This year we got quite a bit of wiggle room to go to 3,000.
Mm-hmm. So I'm saying if we go to 4, that seems reasonable to me.
I have no problem with that. Now, I don't know where the 7 came from. Did that come from her?
Yeah.
Well, it's your committee, what do you think, Nancy?
I hate to dissuade her from, she's so energetic and always looking for something to do for the kids, and
We just not spend the money.
Well, she would still have more money than she's spent in the past.
Right.
okay, we'll give it a try.
Go with the 5, is that what you said?
No, 4.
Four.
4?
Or one of Randy's worked up, oh, how does he get everything all
And
wrinkly
then
and dirty?
7310.405,
Huh?
Okay,
Bathes in
for,
grease.
Youth program supplies and materials.
right.
We can only use
Fortune.
600 to 600 bucks, round numbers, in 2 years.
Right. And I know there's gonna be more with her in charge. But can we take 600 out of that, which would leave her 650?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then if you look at A 7550.402, it's the same situation, never spent what's been allocated.
Which one are we talking
Flag?
for? Oh,
Flags Memorial Day. A 7550.402. Spent 213.50 in 2018, spent 514.23 this year.
that would be a good question for Randy, because those are the flags that go on the
Right,
poles.
utility poles.
And I know that those get kind of ratted.
It'd be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He replaces 20 to 30 each year for the price we're looking at here. That's why I'm thinking we could take maybe 150 out of that line.
By me, I don't know where that number just came from doing the same as last year.
And the year before, and the year before, and the year before. So Can we change that to 600?
Yeah,
They did cut down drastically the amount of flags they put out.
Yeah,
What number are you on there?
When I
500, you said?
550.402.
One too many pages, Bob.
what did you say down to 500?
500,
oh, 500?
you wanna go
Oh.
5 or?
I thought
Or lower.
6, just to
Oh,
be.
okay, 6, no, that's good.
I came up with a little list to save about $16,000, which is, I know, not much in the overall scheme of things, but spreads the pain a little.
I just went to adult recreation for the, bus trips.
Mm-hmm.
We had 8,389, but it's 8,398 is what it should be. That makes, oh,
What's the number?
8,398.
The original
No, but-
2019 budget, you mean?
Oh, that's what it was.
And
Okay.
it's 8,000.
We have 8,000, yeah, trips went up just a little bit, 8,398.
So it's not 8,000, it's 8,398.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Going the other way.
8,400.
So that's, hasn't changed in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
They've cut trips in
Well,
order
it's
to keep it close to the
83.89,
same.
83.89,
Yeah.
okay.
I wonder if there's some outfit closer than Amsterdam that can be sending up a bus
Oh, my
for
God.
these
So-
people.
I like the idea of buying our own bus.
What's the, adult meal site 3,500?
Yeah, Danny was gonna get some information, so.
Yeah, I did, that's for,
They just haven't, given us a voucher yet. Is
yeah,
that
I haven't seen it yet. Jill comes right at the end of the year.
What'd she tell
When we
you it
nudge
was-
them.
What'd she tell you it was for?
Is it for plowing and heat, half the heat and half the
Yeah,
electric?
then you, Chris, you said that you thought that, Office for the Aging provided
It
that.
pays half
Pays
of the
half of
electric and heat and all of the plowing. So it must be 3,500 is half of the electric and heat.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, and being as how that's the Gulf, or no, let's see, that was Texaco.
Yeah. The pole
I
is
worked
still
there.
there,
you worked
if you
there?
look for it.
When Dave Gallup took it over for a while, Star and I worked there. Remember that?
The veteran service, 6510, we did nothing for that. That was monies that was given to the VFW. The
Right.
VFW isn't anymore, but it's still a veterans group.
You're
Yeah,
right.
Adirondack.
Yeah, that $500 that we left blank, I didn't know what that,
They didn't get it last year either. Or this year.
Yeah.
this year they didn't.
Wasn't that a special expense in 2018? There was some special reason that they were asking for $500.
They asked for
from
that
us.
for forever, and Bob Rule used to do it, son, he's gone, so,
Oh, maybe they forgot.
yeah.
Where are you?
6510.4, page 5,
Page 5.
near the bottom.
Veteran Services, Dan.
So you're gonna take that out?
It's taken out, I didn't know if you wanted to put it back in,
Oh.
if that's something
I don't
that-
want to.
Okay,
If they ask for it, we can
get it from
make a
contingent.
decision then.
How do we make out with, never mind.
You win.
What?
I said, you win.
Why you put up such a fight?
On A8090.100, page 7.
Hmm?
Mark, this is your question. This is Stream Monitor Personal Services. I'm assuming that's BTI application?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
I talked to Vi, and we have to hire and train 2 new people.
Probably. And that's about $1,500, well, $1,800 by the time we're done.
Per
I
or
think.
together?
No, for both.
Yeah.
Is there any training costs in the original 2018 and 2019 budgets?
No.
Yeah, but Money comes from the consolidated health
Consolidated
district.
health, right?
Oh, okay.
This
Yeah.
is just
whole
payroll,
thing.
That's
right?
right, it does, okay.
I think there's $4,000 or $5,000 budgeted for that.
You're right, good.
I don't know what Vine told you.
Well, I think this is. I think we pay up to, no, that's the
That's the boat.
boat thing.
Water related.
Where's the check get cut for the, product
Consolidated health
that
district.
comes out?
And I reimbursed the town for the labor.
Did you do that yet?
Mhm.
Consolidated health district. So what is this?
What is what?
The 2,900, I guess, is all just pure payroll.
Personal services, that's what it is.
I didn't know if there was anything else commingled in there.
Shouldn't be, should only be.
BTI applicator reimbursement, 2009-14 this year. But that's a wash, so whatever's spent is what comes in.
And on page 9, we've got B 8160.403, fifth one down.
Post-closing?
Yep,
Yeah, I thought that we did some kind of special test last year in addition to regular monitoring. And this year we're gonna drop down to one test a year.
That's what was told in last year's report,
Right.
but it isn't mentioned in this year's report, so I questioned him
Oh,
whether that was gonna happen or not. I haven't heard from him. Jeffrey,
Yeah, we talked about this about 3 meetings ago or something.
yeah.
mhm. Because we can take 2350 out if we only have to do one.
yeah.
So maybe next,
Let me, try him again and make
Yeah.
sure. Jeffrey May.
Or he may not.
Oh.
Getting late. At least I'm not getting cranky yet.
thank God my father wanted to go to Wendy's, is all I could say.
When you get cranky, we're gonna lock that restroom over there.
No, I gotta go in there. Then you can lock it.
I'll check that also. I'll try to get hold of him, but last time I called him when we talked about it, he never got back to me.
Not enough money to get back to you. I'm looking for the big.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, health insurance deductible now, I happen to be looking at it, I put 51.2 in there with the $3,200 increase. And we still haven't got an answer back from Debbie, who's been checking on the $19,000 that currently is in the account. Now that may be 15 by the end of the year.
Who knows?
Shouldn't that reduce the 53?
Well,
Theoretically, that's the way it's supposed to work.
right.
But we
I
won't
haven't
know
s-
what's
Have
left
you seen that in black and
until-
white, or, I haven't seen nothing in writing yet, and
Yeah.
Debbie hasn't seen nothing in writing, so that's what.
Well,
It's all
she was
I've been
going
pushing
to
her
have a
for.
meeting with Brian Moulton, perhaps that would give us the
well,
information.
that account is with MBT Bank, is it not?
Yeah,
So
it
it
is.
seems like Dan could pick up the phone and say, what's the balance?
No, we have the balance,
Yeah, we know what that is, but we
Okay.
don't
but how
know.
can we use the balance?
Because we don't
Yeah,
know what's
do
hanging out
we-
there.
Oh, well, last
Or
year.
will be
Well,
hanging
till-
out there even in January.
Yeah, and
Right.
and how do we plan for,
Yeah, because you have to have enough for January to,
Right,
because you gotta
because
wait for the
you gotta
taxes
wait
to
for-
come
well, you
in to
gotta wait
put
for-
them in.
You also gotta wait for the bills to come in.
Right. Right. I
Because-
wonder if they get accrued.
That's a good
You know what I
point,
mean?
because this is
Yeah.
the first year of that.
If
so-
you had to deal with a doctor, hospital, whatever, at the end of the year,
God
not gonna
knows you
get
might
built
not
in-
get it till May.
Well, depending on where you go, that's very true.
Well,
But Debbie was gonna set up
Yeah.
a meeting with Brian, haven't heard
because
anything.
Mark put in the full,
I put the whole shot in
Yeah.
there.
maybe we should just leave it this year, because this is only our
And
first
then
year.
roll it.
And then next year,
We might have a windfall of about 15 grand then.
yeah,
Or-
If you use the whole
But-
19,000 to reduce the deductible, that's 0.75% of the budget.
well, 0.75%.
Yeah,
A lot when you try and get it down, but I think our,
I don't know what to expect.
well, something we should all be thinking about.
Well, we gotta get some answers.
yeah.
Debbie gets back on Monday, I guess. She's out the whole week.
As far as I know.
Smart girl, took budget week off.
All right. Anything else?
Oh, we should have asked Randy, sales of equipment. He's hoping to sell things this year to buy his truck,
1-ton truck?
yeah.
I have a question, Nancy.
Uh-oh,
DA 8999.
yep.
Why is the 150,000 still sitting in the original budget column?
That's a Kathy question.
I know you have insight to this
Where are you?
information. Page 10. Just offer a guess. Offer your best opinion, your professional opinion.
This is the truck capital reserve you're talking about?
Appropriated fund
balance.
Oh, wait a minute. Got it.
There probably should have been a, what you call it?
Transfer.
Not a journal entry,
Journal
thank you. A journal entry, to,
What's the other half of the journal entry?
Well,
yeah,
that could vary, right?
appropriated fund balance, that
This
was,
was a Randy deal, as I
Yeah.
recall.
that is, I'm trying to think how much is in his reserve fund right now. Probably not,
I have that information.
you do.
So do I.
You do.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Well,
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks to you, let's see. Nope, wrong one. It's
In
there.
DA, 110,000, right?
Yeah. So did he use 40? I don't know. That and SF. Quite honestly, I tried very hard to figure out what on earth happened to why that says it's negative and it's not.
SF,
Minus 40,000.
Oh,
Still today, on today's report.
And I've tried figuring it out, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm asking her for a report of this and a report of that, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of urgency on her part. So I finally said,
Well,
I'm not getting paid to sit there and fix her work, so I'm not gonna do it.
What line are you talking about?
Which one?
Where it says 40,000, it shouldn't?
no,
Oh, that's on the
Oh,
fund
the
balance.
Reserve fund balance, okay.
she is, I got in here a few minutes, well, before 4.
Mm-hmm.
For the cash accounts, in particular, to make sure that everything was okay. And she was just walking out to her car when I said, oh, the 40,000 is still there.
Is the library, is
So I didn't call her back.
is the library still?
Still negative. I mean, that shouldn't be, right?
No,
There's
she
not
didn't
enough
do
oversight.
I mean, I
the,
can see the timing might be, but
no,
not,
but it's been a long timing.
not 3 weeks later.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like that at the beginning of the month because I asked her so I could do the library reports for library board.
Okay.
And that was the same way, so. Sorry, I just,
Maybe I'll pop in tomorrow.
Can we go back to A 3510? On page 5. Control of animals, personnel.
A what, 35?
A
35, 10, 400?
3510.100.
Dot 100, okay.
Got it? I still
A lot of money.
haven't got through my thick head why we're paying $5,000 for a dog catcher.
Did you get a log? Yeah, I know you.
I haven't gotten it, no.
Okay.
Dan asked for it.
I asked Mike that he'd give it to me, I haven't seen anything.
I asked him at the end of last year, Mike and I had a conversation about a log, and he's never kept one. So he put together as best he could an estimate of what they did last year, and he said he would keep a log for this year.
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody ever check with the other towns to see what they're paying? You know?
I did last year, and my recollection seems to be none of them were over $1,000, but I don't trust my memory on that. I'd have to check again.
Well, I, for one, am a firm believer in not taking away pay from somebody.
Well, if he's putting in the kind of hours that justify it, I'm with you. I don't know if he's dealing with 10 dogs a year or 100 dogs a year.
I have I have a question while we're on this subject. No offense, Bob.
No, Dick?
I didn't think so. Deputy supervisor. I don't know what that, I don't know what it's worth.
Well, if something were to happen to the supervisor, the deputy would be,
Well, how does that,
It's like vice president.
but how does that
No,
work?
it's
Wouldn't
for if Dan doesn't make meetings, then Bob would
Yeah.
do the meetings
I
and.
understand, I understand.
or again, if something were to happen to the supervisor, you know,
Let's say Dan
Someone has to-
doesn't come back.
Well, we impeach him.
yeah,
Yeah, we teach him.
yeah.
So would that amount of money cover?
Well, at that point,
The
he'd become
future-
acting supervisor and he'd get the balance of that salary.
That's what I'm wondering. Okay,
Don't ask me, I never asked for anything.
why?
I don't know
Do we have
how,
a policy or a procedure, you know, how that would work?
Do you know how it ended up that way?
You really don't?
You know
Hate
who
to say
was-
it, but it was always that way since
I
I've been
mean-
here. And Gary was.
Gary was until he died,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, I just,
yeah, but do you help Dan with administrative things?
if need be.
So maybe
You
it's
have
more
check
than just
writing,
being a lady in
check
waiting, I don't
signing.
know.
Bob has check signing ability
Yeah,
when
Yeah,
Dan
I've done
isn't.
that a few times.
Well, I'm a big, part of my psyche, I hear a lot of, well, we've always done it that way.
No, that's what I said. You
And
just
that
hate to
just-
say we've always done it that way, but
That
it's
gets me right between the eyes.
just that when you ask, why did it come that way? Well, when I came here in '93, there was a deputy supervisor who got paid a little bit more than the rest of the town board did, that's all.
Which makes sense.
It's not tons more.
all right, anything else?
I think I put everything that I had jotted down.
But you had $16,000 worth of stuff. Did we do 16? I don't remember writing $16,000 worth of stuff down.
No, we probably didn't do quite that much. And Randy left before I could ask him about the bus garage. I think we could probably take 500 out of that, but I don't wanna do it without checking with him.
Oh, that,
We have,
did we discuss that
That
before?
was the garage door stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, it's, well, if you wanna look at it, it's A 1625.400.
Well, the reason why you
Page
would
4.
leave it there if you had a break in the door.
yeah.
Okay, so that would be,
Yeah,
it would
but-
cost that much to replace a door, I'm sure.
Well, it's because the town has paid prevailing rate
Right.
to,
Yeah,
the
that-
overhead door company for
That was
travel
the rub,
time.
and we're not in anybody's district.
Right. And that,
I
and
guess-
that happened.
Yeah, I know, it happened in 2018. Last year, nothing happened, which was good.
Yeah.
Well, all right,
I'd-
that should probably stay at 2,000 then.
I would say so, I think they're much better at, taking precautionary measures, so things like that don't happen again now, they're,
Yeah, Randy
Maintaining
seems
the
to be on
doors
top
now.
of all that,
yeah.
yeah. Training them how to use the bus garage doors, I love that one. That was after they were, the new springs were put in?
Well, if I remember correctly, that was, a very, very cold morning, well below 0. And I was here real early, and Randy had just gotten here, and he'd just gotten a call that the door wouldn't close. And that furnace was just a flare.
Was that in the bus garage?
Oh, you know what, we got distracted when I started to ask you, Mark, about the stream monitor,
Yes. I,
8090.100?
ballpark, I see we taken out about 22, just over 22,000.
Sorry?
Yeah, with Randy's 15,
Randy's
yeah.
15.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're
Yeah.
about
Oh, with
22,000.
Randy's number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is 1%.
I'm just,
The stream monitor is a wash, plus or minus.
Oh, that's right, that's what we said, okay. It's
That's,
been a long day.
Social Security and Medicare.
Well, I forgot
Get
it comes
added
out
to that,
consolidated health. Again, I forgot it.
Just too many numbers.
Dan, you had a question on cash balance?
Chris, you said that last year at this time, repeat what you said.
This is the fund balance projection,
For my share of this year?
okay?
Okay.
So,
Is this the one I just ran?
yep,
Okay.
so this is, right now, what you're projecting at the end of the year. I took out the reserve funds. So that would leave $908,599. Last year, at this time, we were at $682,729. So what I'm saying is that if I figured that correctly, and I'd like somebody else to figure it too, so we know, we have $91,000 set aside in reserve funds. It appears, comparing apples to apples, that we're going to have 7, 8, 200,000, 26, $226,000 more, which means we can put, if we're going to continue to keep our fund balances at 25% of appropriations, we can put quite a bit more money
oh, yeah,
toward reducing the tax levy.
yeah,
Right.
that would
But did I figure it right? That's the big question.
well, you may very well have figured it right, but the bottom line is we really don't wanna take a real hard stab at that until
Near the end.
the very
Well,
end.
yeah, I know, we're not gonna make a decision
Oh, I
on it
agree,
till
I
near the
think,
end,
I definitely think there's gonna be,
but I think that we're.
And it's
I'd
later
be
than
safer.
usual too,
that
Yes,
we
it
have
is.
to do
Yeah.
the adoption of the budget, which helps, cause that
Yeah.
gives us like only 6 weeks left by that time.
But this will help us with
Oh,
that
yeah.
health insurance account.
Yeah, because
Our
if you,
savings
yeah,
account.
because none of that applied, so, I mean, yeah,
Right.
I thought
And
we're,
the health insurance
I thought we're
hasn't
not in that
really
bad
been
shape.
applied
I
yet,
think we're
you know,
That-
for
that-
sure,
that was
right?
my- That was
Well,
my
I
gut
tacked
after
on
I looked
it-
at
The
this.
phone
Yeah.
call
Mhm.
that
Okay,
Don
good.
had
I didn't
with, what's his name?
Look at
Steve?
last year's,
Is that-
this year's,
Brian,
Steve's son,
but I just,
no,
Brian?
Brian.
going
oh, Brian
through
Moore,
Okay.
Brian Moore.
Yeah,
what we spent,
And
and what was
whatever,
still in the budget, and
Mhm.
whatever percentage
Areas
you
that
relayed
were-
in the emails, what I tacked on.
what
I'm
I
sure
have-
you could do that and get a good idea.
Well,
I
I
can't, I
mean,
have to
I was
write everything.
10 for
I
seniors
was just
and 6.5.
ballparking in my
Yes.
head, I didn't.
Yeah, but you-
I didn't put
That's
any,
in there.
That's your field, you can do it.
And the
it just
same with
looked
the
to me
workman's
like,
comp is.
you know, when we look at,
And
where
I
we are
think
with these percentages.
the conversation I had
and
with
the
him
total
was,
amount of money.
that may be a
Mhm.
little high, but it's a
I-
safe number to work with.
I
Yeah.
think definitely it would be,
So,
Okay.
a little cushion there,
we get,
uh,
it's kind of scary on percentages.
What happened last year, I even have a note in there that the workman's comp was decreasing 6% less, which is what I
Well,
went.
this
And
figure
did
must be
Did you
wrong,
ever get the information
Here.
on, retirement?
because Nancy says
Not yet.
this figure is wrong.
What year is this?
This is the
I've
one that
been,
Mark printed out
anything I
today.
get from the state recorder that I sent you, which had nothing to do with what we were talking
No,
about.
no,
But just to
it,
let you know that, I watched,
something from the retirement
Fireman's,
system,
yeah,
or Kathy
Nancy
can
says
go
that
in,
can't-
she
Well,
has the
yeah,
passwords and
something-
she
yeah,
can go
that's
in,
not
and I
screwy
think you
there.
can
So is this one.
print
So that makes all these numbers, oh, this
the
one's
bill
screwy
for
too?
this
Well, I
year,
give you mine.
which is due in December, and then
I
the
suspect they've overspent their
projection for
budget
next
since they
year,
did last year.
because
and the year
No,
before.
that might not
that needs
necessarily
to
mean
be
that.
plugged in, it could
okay.
be less, you know, but
But
I
that
don't
would
know.
change this, right?
As people retire, it gets,
Yeah,
because higher tiers.
Okay, I just wondered.
Like when Vicky and I retired, that was a nice, and Dawn.
Yeah, but the information she's getting now is to be paid in December of this year.
One is to be
For
paid in
2020.
December, and then they have a projection for next year.
That is the
Looks
projection
like-
that you're paying in December, correct? Or not?
It looks like this.
Yeah.
But this is the estimate that we got for now.
What's the date of that?
This is last year. I got this from last year. I don't see a date. But it said that,
But that's prepaid, right? You're prepaid, you're pre-fund,
we're prepaying in
Paying the
December because we saved money instead of paying it in February. So if we pay it in, like this year, the estimate, this is an estimate, this isn't cash, that's what you have to get the actual bill. It's $121,481, and if we pay it in February, it's $122,405. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's only $1,000 difference, which is not as bad as it was in the past.
yeah, we went through some years where they were way off. We had to come up with 35.
they were way off?
Yeah,
Who was the they?
and then we had the
retirement,
state,
very state
and we had to come up
Retirement
with like
system.
35, 40 grand in the middle of the year.
Yeah, that was the year the state,
Oh, my
the
goodness.
They were
the
glad to
stock
lend,
market investments.
Yeah.
tanked.
weren't they glad to
Tanked.
lend us the money?
Oh, yeah.
I
They're
remember
always
that.
so cooperative, right?
I don't recollect that, but you could be right.
The stock market went down like a rock, and
Along with all the
we did not
retirement.
have the current comptroller in the office.
Right.
This guy's done a much better job.
Well, he's had a market to do a much better job with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's true.
Yeah.
But he was
But he
there
was probably
through,
invested in the correct.
Was that H. Carl McCall that we had the problems? I'm trying to remember who.
Yeah, it could very well.
it
Yeah.
was quite a while ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember. And then we had issues in the town too, where people didn't, way back, didn't put in, like sign waivers and didn't do it, and we had to pay back retirement payments.
Well,
Didn't we have an attorney also who
They didn't wanna have money put in the retirement fund for them?
At the beginning, when they first came in, well, you pay 3%.
Well, years ago,
Yeah,
there was village employees that all opted out of social security.
Young and dumb,
They're all, I
right?
mean, they're all dead now, but
yeah. I think when I was in college, I could do that, I could opt out. I don't remember why, but I could.
You probably didn't
Oh.
earn enough money. to-
Probably not, I'm
It might
sure
not
that
be a
was
lot
it, cause
there,
it
but
was
it's way
just
better
summer.
than nothing.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
And they've been
exactly.
paying into it your life.
yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna go with the 2% COLA?
Across the board.
Sounds good to me.
Alright. Doesn't save that much money anyway, going to 1.6, but
Would
I
you,
just wondered.
do you wanna knock the 1% off the Debbie at L? Debbie's in at 3, Faith is in at 3.
I thought,
The judges
normally
do.
we do it across the board.
There should be a course to.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
we didn't discuss knocking it down, so
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should, we'll knock those down to 2%.
I
yep,
think so.
yep.
Yeah, if 1.6% instead of 2 would only save us 27.53, which is 0.1% of the tax levy this year.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
I'm seeing you guys more than I see my family.
I was doing this
I call you back?
before I had the fund projections, which is actually a good exercise to do this, but I don't know if I would have if I'd seen the fund projections first.
You don't wanna cut the fund balance down too much, because
No, I
then you
wanna keep
end up.
at least 25% in there.
Yeah.
That's the top.
When we had our, Sean here,
Oh, good old Sean.
um, he suggested 20%.
Yeah, I know.
And I can't believe you got him to suggest it, cause I asked him every which way, and he kept saying, well, they're different sized towns, and there's different sized villages, and, you know, he wouldn't
The
commit. Did he give you
comptroller
that
even has a
spiel too?
guideline.
Yeah.
But the problem
So-
is, if you're Albany and you got 25% of their budget, you got 25% of our budget, and you have something
Right.
where you need money, that's a
That's
big
right.
difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
so,
difference.
But I got into a conversation with him about Arietta, because they got
they don't know what to do with it all.
too much.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then, where's that right? Now we gotta get this.
And we can't get money from them when we wanna partner.
Well, maybe they should build another salt shed on Route 10. I went by there today, and they've
They're
got an
actually,
outdoor salt pile,
Oh,
They're
yeah.
actually,
sand and salt.
they're actually trying to do that.
Oh,
according to
that's
us.
the barn that Rick wants to build?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, a town barn, a new town barn, and
And
Oh,
a
and,
salt shed. Yeah, but they're trying to get money for it.
Yeah, cause I saw Rick one day and he was telling me, he says, you know, we have,
where's
So
the
much.
planet footprint for the barn, the regular town barn?
Up on the hill to the left,
Where
the old barn.
Where it's parked, where
Yeah.
they park now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where they would go with that. And then would they keep the one they have, or they would
That
demolish
I
it?
haven't discussed. Haven't
Or
heard.
let it way the guys go to work, they have a place to park their trucks.
that's what you got.
The park inside.
Are we,
So there's a board meeting Monday, which you folks will,
tentatively?
get a copy of your hard labors.
and say I do.
And Monday's the
Well, if we
day.
have the votes.
The votes.
Yeah, if the board approves
The
it.
board approves it. I'm only a person, I can't say, well, the board's gonna pass
Right,
it or not.
but that is the plan.
Not gonna happen between
Pass it
now and
to a
then.
preliminary.
So, put it up there,
I
and
hope
let's
not.
see what happens.
You gonna
So-
send it out ahead of time for us to?
Yeah, I'll make these changes and, today is Wednesday. Talk to Kathy tomorrow. I don't need Debbie for anything, I guess. So probably Friday or Friday night, I will email you
Okay.
what you'll be voting on.
Oh, wonderful.
How's that?
Okay,
Good.
Is that okay?
okay with me.
See, now when you come
You
up-
got email now?
well, it's raining, so I wouldn't,